What's up guys, this is your favorite fanfic YouTuber, the Fanfic Majesty, and welcome to another amazing video. You can follow me on Patreon for exclusive stories. 5 Street Chapter 66. One blow to 4 emperors, the Black Dragon is too cruel, Auntie is backing down. Shane's first target was the ant in the air. With a flick of his Vice Admiral Kaido, the huge dragon whip whizzed towards the ant. A precise hit on Auntie's body. Kaido is the strongest creature, and his body is so hard that even Big Mom, who is called a steel balloon, was injured a lot. Blood foam spurted out of his mouth. Below, Katakuri, Smoothie and others were shocked when they saw this. Mother, the retainers exclaimed. My mother broke her guard. How could it be so easy? No matter how strong Kaido is, he can't be so easy. The ant in the air flew out upside down and fell from Zeus's body. Upon seeing this, Shane did not continue to pursue, but instead set his target on Whitebeard, Red Hair and others below. A glance from the corner of his eye immediately made the two new and old 4 emperors, Whitebeard and Red-Haired, feel pressured. Red-Haired kid, are you ready? Whitebeard said solemnly. Ah, the red-haired man responded, his voice elongated. I am always prepared to face the Black Dragon. However, as soon as he finished speaking, the red-haired man felt himself being shrouded in shadow. He was startled, and when he looked up, he saw the huge Kaido coming towards him. When did you come to me? All around, the faces of Ben Beckman, Lackey Lou and other cadres changed greatly. So fast, I couldn't see clearly just now, even observation hockey couldn't catch it. The red-haired man tried to dodge, but Kaido's huge body was already smashed down. Boom! There was a loud noise, and the bow of the Mobidy was dented by Kaido's body, causing the entire Mobidy to shake violently. The red hair is missing. Shane still didn't attack the red, 690, hair. He swept and smashed in the direction of Whitebeard. Whitebeard shouted loudly, his muscles bulging, Black Dragon. My strength is not weak. He raised his hand and used all his strength to resist the swing. Nani. At the moment of contact, Whitebeard was shocked to the extreme. This power was unprecedented and terrifying to the extreme. After only holding on for a few seconds, Whitebeard couldn't resist and flew out backwards. The body flew out of the Mobidy and continued to slide on the ice. It didn't stop until it finally hit the huge frozen tsunami and smashed a huge hole. This scene shocked Marco and other captains to the extreme. The Black Dragon's power actually surpassed that of Dad. How did such a small body come with such strength? The power is so terrifying. The other members of the Imperial group were also extremely horrified. Is Mom okay? Owen was worried. Katakuri, Smoothie and others were silent. My mother was beaten by Shane just now and vomited blood. Hope it's okay. On the red team's side, Ben Beckman, Lackey Lou and others set off one after another to find their captain. I don't know where Shane hit him. All over the world, everyone was stunned. One of the 4 emperors was beaten to the point of vomiting blood. One of the 4 emperors was missing, and the strongest man, Whitebeard, was beaten and flew far away. The Black Dragon Admiral did it all by himself. How outrageous. Even the giants can't compare to this kind of power, right? Invincible. The Black Dragon Admiral is truly invincible. That's awesome. I used to think that the Black Dragon Admiral was bragging and bluffing, but looking at it now, it's obviously self-effacing, right? Roger started the Age of Discovery back then, and today the Black Dragon Admiral ends the Age of Discovery. Even though the 3 emperors were not defeated, the emotions of the crowd were already high. I would like to ask who in more than 800 years can achieve the results of the Black Dragon? Naval Headquarters live. On the execution platform, Sengoku's face was filled with shock. He murmured, Garp, do you know what I saw? Garp recovered from the shock and asked without understanding, what did you see? I saw, Justice, about to cover the sea. Garp was silent and didn't answer. Instead, he looked at Shane above the sky. Regardless of the final outcome of this battle, Shane has become a god. And the name, Black Dragon, is enough to scare pirates all over the sea. Below, Aokiji, Kizaru, and Akainu were all stunned. Go. Use 3 moves to defeat all 3 emperors. Aokiji couldn't even imagine what kind of strength Shane has now. On the side, Kizaru said, Yo, and was amazed. Then he glanced at Akainu and asked, Sakazuki, how can we give birth to an outstanding child like Shane? Aokiji glanced at Kizaru, how can Shane be described as just excellent? Akainu didn't answer, he fell into a deep silence. He chose to trust Shane before, then he was worried about Shane, and then he was excited. Shane resisted an epic joint attack. But now watching his son attack one of the 4 emperors, and even use Kaido as a weapon, Inu was completely stunned. Is being powerful a bit too much? Speaking of which, how did you give birth to Shane before? Akainu thought carefully and planned to use it to produce a second offspring later. On top of the high wall, 7 warlords of the sea were so shocked that everyone was dumbfounded. It's really too strong, right? The most outrageous thing is that the basic hockey, recognized by all strong players until now, is that Shane has not used it at all. Defense relies entirely on the body, strength relies entirely on brute force. Ah, concubine. Hancock suddenly covered his face. Master Shane, you are so strong, I respect the strong the most. On the side, Doflamingo couldn't help but look at Hancock, secretly surprised in his heart. Are you fascinated by the power of the Black Dragon? He has never seen an Empress react like this. Hasn't the Empress always been aloof? Holy place Marijoy. Geiringer gasped wildly, is the new generation so crazy now? One person picked 4 emperors. At this moment, Geiringer couldn't show any arrogance of being a strong man in front of Shane. He, the absolute king, has been deeply impressed by Shane deep down in his heart. Even he was extremely envious. Why could this guy Jian give birth to such a terrifying offspring as Shane? Saint Elder Satan on the sofa in the middle laughed loudly, and Saint Elder Moss also laughed heartily. Saint Satan glanced at Elder Nashowling and Elder Peter and said, the decision that Mars and I made was not wrong, right? Pardon Shane and tie him completely to our ship. Now that our world government has the power of Shane, do we still need that 3-year hunting game? After this battle, as long as Shane sits there, all the pirates will be trembling. Elder Nasushiro and Elder Peter looked at each other and nodded helplessly. Indeed, recruiting Shane was the most correct choice. Naval Headquarters, lots of horses, Whitebeard shouted loudly and shattered the huge ice block pressing on him. Then stood up. There were not many injuries on his body. Whitebeard's domineering eyes were fixed on Shane in the sky, and then he turned and grinned. Red-haired kid, Lin, can you continue? In midair, the ant gritted her teeth fiercely. Of course, Day. I won't be defeated so easily. Besides, this Brad just made me lose face. How can I survive on the sea if I don't get him back? At this time, a loud, crash, sound came. The redhead jumped up and emerged from the rubble. The members of the Red Group were overjoyed when they saw this, because... I'm so glad you're okay, boss, you just worried us to death. Boss, we thought you were dead. Ben Beckman, Lackey Lou and other cadres also breathed a sigh of relief. Although he knew how powerful his captain was, he was really worried just now. After all, the Black Dragon's domineering power shocked the entire audience, causing them to lose their ability to think. Huh. The red hair fell on the ice and chuckled. In your eyes, am I that bad? The red-haired man only had a few more skin injuries and looked a little more embarrassed, but he was otherwise fine. After saying that, he then looked at Whitebeard and sneered. Whitebeard, don't underestimate people of our generation. As for you, can your body still be able to bear it? Coo, Whitebeard laughed, certainly. Don't underestimate the bodies of the older generation either. While Whitebeard shouted violently, he launched another attack. Shocking fist. Whitebeard did not choose to close the distance and attacked Shane from a distance. Boom boom boom. The entire Marine Fanduo began to vibrate. The power of shock fruit shattered the void wherever it passed, and cracks filled the air. Shane narrowed his eyes, not that he thought Whitebeard's move would do anything to him. But Whitebeard's move will affect Marine Fanduo. Shane immediately raised Kaido high, and while Kaido roared crazily and cursed, he used the Dragon Whip to punch Whitebeard. Boom. The explosion sounded again, and Kaido's body collided with the power of Whitebeard's shock fruit. His expression suddenly sank to the bottom, and pain flashed in his domineering eyes. But even so, Kaido's body still defeated Whitebeard's shock fruit power, and even dealt back the aftermath. The power of collapse swept toward the port. The 4 emperors immediately shouted, oh no. We can't let the aftermath affect our ships, Marco shouted. He also transformed into a phoenix and rushed forward. When Jin saw this, he also rushed forward. The 2 of them resisted Whitebeard's destructive power together, but even the 2 second-in-commands were still unable to resist it all, and some of the aftermath fell on their own camp. Suddenly screams broke out. God falls. A low voice echoed throughout the headquarters, and at the same time, the black thunder above the head shocked the entire Marine community. Many Marines fainted again. Hong Fang performs a Griffin chop on Shane. He didn't care about anyone else. Shane must be dealt with, otherwise the casualties will be even greater. Auntie came riding Zeus too, with flames roaring and thunder rolling. Below, Whitebeard made the same choice as the redhead. He ignored the aftermath and started sprinting towards Shane. At about the same time, Whitebeard jumped up and slashed at Shane with his sword raised high. The 3 emperors fought with Shane again. Everyone around looked at this scene over the port with shocked expressions. War the fight is earth-shattering. Everyone's foreheads were covered in cold sweat. It feels like a dream. Isn't Black Dragon's style of play too reckless? Besides recklessness, I don't see any other skills. The key is that he has the qualifications to be reckless. In midair, Shane faced the 3 emperors and the crazy struggle of Kaido in his hands in the most domineering way. That is to let the attacks of the 3 emperors fall on you, and then attack whoever you can attack. If you can catch it, even better. 5 people hit the ice in the port from the air, and attacks of various attributes broke out. Fire, thunder, hockey, Honkai impact. The strong fight and the weak suffer. The members of the 4 emperors group who were affected were killed and injured, and everyone began to flee in panic. Kaido yelled, Lin, Whitebeard, Red Hair, move the battlefield to the headquarters square. When we fight here, we lose our own people. Whitebeard, the ant and the red-haired three all gritted their teeth and their foreheads were covered with sweat. The ant also angrily yelled at Kaido. Asshole Kaido, you think we don't want to? But it can't be transferred at all. This guy Black Dragon. The red-haired man was under great pressure. At this time, he was fighting Shane head-on. Shane simply used the most primitive means to blast him away from Marine Plaza step by step. Black Dragon has firmly controlled the battlefield at port 1.1. Whitebeard raised his eyebrows, and with anger surging in his heart, he shouted loudly, and a sharp light flashed in his eyes. Then he punched the headquarters square. We can't just reduce the number of their people, we must also reduce the number of Marine people. I wanted to play for a while, Whitebeard, you were going too far. Chang'en's voice was without any emotion. Then it suddenly exploded, with strength, speed, and attack even more fierce than before. Not only did Whitebeard's move be defeated, but Whitebeard, Red Hair and Big Mom were also knocked away again. The three of them slid down the ice into a gully several hundred meters long, and finally hit the frozen tsunami. A huge ice block as big as a hill fell from the dome, but it was shattered by the three Emperors' attacks. White light covers the surroundings, from the main Emperor's gloomy face to the Ultimate's face. Whitebeard, the redhead feels the pressure from Ultimate. Looking at Shane, a feeling of powerlessness emerged in my heart. It seems like no matter how hard I try, I can't beat Shane. At this time, they were all stained to varying degrees and looked very embarrassed. On the other hand, Shane, although he looked more embarrassed, had almost no injuries. The only two injuries were just skin wounds, without any blood. Perhaps continuing to attack can break Shane's defense, but after the previous battle, their will has been shaken. The ant even retreated. The whole thing actually has nothing to do with my anti-pirates, and I don't know Ace and Luffy. As for the historical text and the three territories promised by Red Hair? Haha. This kind of opponent that goes beyond common sense can still gain benefits by continuing? Ads by Bid Gear Chapter 67. The Revolutionary Army suddenly entered the scene and brought the old era with it. Shane. Is this still the top? Shane stood on the broken ice, surrounded by pirates, but no one dared to approach. Even people like Ben Beckman and Jin, no one dared to step forward. One person can intimidate the four emperors. There was no expression on Shane's face, no sign of joy or anything else. As he raised his hand, Kaido was thrown away. The strongest creature rolled on the ice and finally landed not far from Whitebeard, Red Hair and Big Mom. Until this time, Kaido had a chance to breathe. He held the ground with one hand and coughed out blood from his mouth. Black Dragon. Kaido's eyes turned to Ultimate with resentment, but he didn't rush forward. For Kaido, this reckless man, it already explains everything. Shane glanced at Kaido, then looked at Whitebeard and the redhead. This young man who was only 16 years old was now like a giant in the eyes of everyone. Go back, Shane said calmly. Whitebeard, the redhead is silent. You can't break my defense. Although I already have 2 skin wounds, as long as I want to, you can't continue to cause harm to these 2 places. He who knows the current affairs is a hero, so leave. Shane's tone was calm. No one said a word among the thousands of Marines behind him. Even the fathers of Sengoku and Akainu remained silent. No one said anything about pursuing the victory to win the 4 emperors, and everyone defaulted to letting Shane make his own choice. Whether it's to let the 4 emperors leave or really start a full-scale war, as long as Shane says a word, all the generals present will obey. Shane's previous battles made him the soul of the army. But what everyone in Marine didn't know was that Shane did this because he didn't want to cause further harm to Naval Headquarters. After all, strength is difficult to control. No matter how careful I was just now, Naval Headquarters still caused a lot of damage. A crack in the ground or the collapse of a building is considered damage. This task is too difficult. Shane's words caused Whitebeard and the red-haired man to get entangled in their expressions and did not answer immediately. Outside live broadcast rooms around the world, everyone in the world is looking forward to it. They're waiting for a result. Do you think 4 emperors will choose to evacuate? 17? I don't know, it doesn't seem possible, but it's difficult for the 4 emperors to cause harm to Shane. They must also know that it's pointless to continue fighting like this, right? Having said that, those are 4 emperors. I hope the 4 emperors can retreat, so this battle will be of extraordinary significance. That's right, as long as the 4 emperors retreat, the Black Dragon Admiral will be famous forever, and the Japanese will force the 4 sea emperors back. This is what conferring gods in the First World War is talking about. The whole world is looking forward to it. As long as the 4 emperors choose to leave, the world will change many, many things. Naval Headquarters live. After struggling for a moment, Whitebeard's eyes suddenly hardened. The previous tyranny resurfaced again, and he said in a low voice, Black Dragon Brad, we will not leave. We will continue to fight until Ace and Luffy are rescued. As he spoke, Whitebeard suddenly laughed with a meaningful expression. Black Dragon, do you know? Before I came here, I was already prepared to die. In this case, do you think I will choose to retreat? Shane's brows moved quietly. Of course he knew this. Whitebeard is already ready to fight alone after rescuing Ace. However, at this moment, the ant on the side suddenly interrupted. Whitebeard, Red Hair, You are on your own from now on. I don't want to accompany you anymore. I don't want the historical text anymore. If the fight continues, the strength of her Big Mom pirates will be severely damaged. How will they be able to play in the future? Whitebeard didn't say anything about Big Mom's choice. This is to be expected. He and others were trying to save Ace, but Big Mom had no reason to fight. Now I can only look at Red Hair. On the red-haired side, he has been silent since Shane asked. The red-haired man was still confused. He spent a lot of time thinking about the balance, thinking that the two emperors could contain the Black Dragon or even deal with this fighting force. But now there's no balance at all. Even Kaido accidentally joined the battle, but he still couldn't do anything to the Black Dragon. Continue to fight, or... Shane let out a long breath and shook his head helplessly. It seemed that he could only fight to the end. As for whether he could complete the task in the end, Shane was not sure. At this time, an exclamation came from the far square. Many Marines behind them shouted, "What's going on the ground? Something is coming out." Sengoku, 3 Admiral looked suddenly and saw a pothole suddenly appeared in the ground, and the next moment a figure rushed towards the execution platform at an extremely fast speed. "Boy Sabo, charge," Molly said, holding her trident high. Revolutionary Army. Sengoku and the 3 Admirals were all shocked. The 4 Emperors appear. Now even the Revolutionary Army has come to join in the fun. However, although it is unexpected, it is also reasonable. The person to be executed was Luffy. Sabo is extremely fast. As soon as he stepped onto the execution platform, he used his Dragon Claw hand to break Ace and Luffy's chains. Not caring about untying them all, he just grabbed the 2 of them and jumped down. Behind him, Marine exclaimed. The Revolutionary Army dispatched 4 army commanders. All high-end combat power has been mobilized. Luffy and Ace have been rescued. The situation was suddenly reversed. Now how to do? 4 Emperors. Plus the Revolutionary Army. Once a full-scale war breaks out, the opponent's military strength is enough to crush Marine. On top of the high wall, Doflamingo, Hancock and other 7 warlords of the sea are all unexpected. It was originally thought that the Black Dragon's shock to the 4 Emperors was almost over, but the unexpected appearance of the Revolutionary Army turned the situation around. The 4 Emperors, Port, Big Mom, Whitebeard, Red Hair and Kaido, are also unexpected and inexplicable. But soon, Whitebeard burst into laughter. Coup. Very good. Ace is saved. Opposite 4 Emperors, Shane raised his hand and touched his head, speechless. The Revolutionary Army suddenly broke out, which meant that the 5 top forces were involved in this incident. This change is not that big. I just want to complete the task. Why is it so difficult? On the execution platform, Sengoku stared at Sabo's back with eyes wide open in anger. Garp. Let's attack together. We must not let them take Ace and Luffy away. Sengoku shouted while taking action. However, this palm was blocked by a group of crows. Army Commander. Crow. Sengoku gritted his teeth. On the other side, Garp was half a beat too slow before taking action. But Sabo had already landed, and then pulled Luffy and Ace sideways to avoid Garp's attack. Ace and Luffy were overjoyed when they saw that they and others had been rescued. Luffy grinned and said, "Ace, I told you we'll be fine, right? I am the man who wants to be the Pirate King. Before this, I will definitely be fine." Ace couldn't help but laugh after hearing this. I really didn't expect that the Revolutionary Army would also be dispatched. Originally, he was a little desperate, hoping that his father would leave here with his friends and no longer need to save him. The strength of the Black Dragon is beyond imagination. Presumptuous. At this time, Jian shouted loudly from the position of the 4 Admirals. "You bunch of street rats, how dare you come out and show off in the street? Oh, if I let you rescue Ace and Luffy today, then our Marine Majesty will be worthy of our existence. If Ace and Luffy were rescued today, I'm afraid people all over the world would criticize the 3 Admirals and all the Marines. Only the Black Dragon will not be sprayed. After all, he fended off 4 Emperors by himself. Under such circumstances, Luffy and Ace were still rescued. That was the problem of the rest of Marine. Let me restrain their actions," the 3 Admirals set off together. At this moment, a fierce hurricane swept through the 3 Admirals. The expressions of Akainu, Aokiji and Kizaru all changed. They saw a figure appear in front of the 3 people, and the figure's entire face was revealed in the tornado. Revolutionary Dragon. Behind him, Perla Petty was chewing a cigarette, Molly holding a trident high, and Lindbergh wearing a jetpack. The other 3 army commanders also showed up. Akainu, under the hood, the dragon smiled. "Your offspring are really strong, but we must also give other young people a chance. How about I take my useless son back and give him a good education?" Akainu's face darkened and he did not answer, but the rolling lava on his hand answered for him. Beside him, Kizaru pouted, "Ryu, I just told you that if we let you go, our Marines will have a big headache." Just in time. The 4 Emperors plus the Revolutionary Army, all the troublesome forces in the world are gathered here, and they are all wiped out today. Akainu's arms have all turned into magma, becoming extremely huge. The army commander and others were on alert to prepare for Akainu's attack at any time. However, the smile of Long in front did not change at all. He smiled lightly and said, "Our Revolutionary Army is not the only one coming this time. Didn't you realize that you have one less member under your command?" Akainu, Aokiji and Kizaru are all confused. Jew? Who? Since everyone in the audience was watching Shane fight against the four kings, they all ignored the rest. But there was no need for the three admirals to guess. An arrogant smile sounded and they walked out from behind the Naval Headquarters building. "Ha ha ha ha. Dragon, you are not kind," Blackbeard scolded with a smile. Originally, he was thinking of finding a suitable opportunity. Marine and the Rear Admiral all looked towards Blackbeard and saw that he was leading several of his original subordinates, followed by his new subordinates dressed as prisoners. Seeing this prisoner, Sengoku and other senior officials became a little uneasy. They are all big prisoners in the underwater prison. "Blackbeard, what have you done?" Marine executives have a bad feeling in their hearts. Could it be that something happened in the underwater prison? At the same time, many people outside also saw the undersea prison prisoners brought by Blackbeard. The Marines screamed in surprise. Momosagi, Smoker, all the elites felt their hearts tightening. When a cockroach appears, it means more than just that. Holy Place Marijoy, the five elders, Geiringer and others looked extremely ugly. Undersea prison. Something happened, soon. The live broadcast answered five elders' questions. In midair, another laughter burst out again. Above the port, Whitebeard, Kaido, Big Mom, Red Hair and others looked up and saw a familiar figure. Shane also looked up, and then felt helpless. Why did another unexpected enemy appear? Legendary pirate Golden Lion, Whitebeard, Kaido, Linlin. The Golden Lion fell from the sky. Seeing the embarrassed looks of the three old acquaintances, they began to gloat and laughed at them. "Why are you so embarrassed? It seems that without Laozi's encouragement over the years, your strength has declined. Especially Kaido, half of your blood is lost, right?" Golden Lion, "Believe it or not, Laozi will kill you with a stick," Kaido cursed. He was in no mood to joke with Golden Lion right now. "Shiki, you still talk as much as before," Rayleigh came up and said. Golden Lion was surprised when he saw Rayleigh, welfare. Then he became excited. "I didn't expect that you, a guy with a tough life, didn't die." "Ah," on the other side, a sneer sounded. "Rayleigh, you were no different from me before, but you are definitely no match for me now." The strong men from the old era who were present heard this and turned around to look and saw another familiar face. Bullet. The red-haired person present, Rayleigh and others were surprised. "I didn't expect there to be so many familiar faces today." In Marine Square, the appearance of Bullet and Golden Lion caused a commotion. "What the hell? Two legendary pirates are here too. How can we play now? The other prisoners have no actual achievements, but Golden Lion and Bullet have real kills." Back then, Golden Lion entered Marin Fandu alone and fought against Garp and Sengoku. The battle ended only after Marin Fandu was half destroyed. Bullet used Buster Call to arrest the Scion of the Devil. Both of their performances are extremely impressive. In the rear, the Marine executives who were confronting the Revolutionary Army became uneasy when they saw the two strong men Golden Lion and Bullet appearing. This situation. Back then, it wasn't so exaggerated. Sengoku broke into a cold sweat on his forehead. Akainu's arms have all turned into lava. Now the three of them, Admiral, must take action. Kizaru looked noncommittal and howled, "It's really scary." Each of the Marine generals felt like they were facing a powerful enemy, and they were all at a loss for a moment. What's going on? A gathering day for top players. Almost everyone with a name appears in Marin Fandu. How to fight next? There are many sacred places in Marin. The mood of five elders is like riding a roller coaster, tense and relaxed, and now everyone is nervous again. Naval Headquarters is now a mass of demons. Is Kong arriving at Naval Headquarters soon? Contact him quickly, it's going to get out of hand. Ads by Bid Gear Chapter 68 unlock new attributes. Super Healing. Blackbeard takes the initiative to challenge Shane. Holy Place Marijoy. Among the rights, five elders and Geiringer all stood up, their expressions ashen. The situation is completely out of control. There is no need to put Kong on standby and directly intervene in this war. Damn it, shall we? Now? Elder Nashowling looked at the other elders and asked for their opinions. Do you want to go find Master I Am? In this situation, it may be necessary to use that thing. At this moment, Sarton's brows furrowed, and soon he said in a low voice, "There is another extremely troublesome guy." Upon hearing this, the other five elders turned to look at the screen. I saw the Red Earl appearing on the live broadcast screen without any delay. The appearance of this person completely announced the complete collapse of the underwater prison. A guy who alone can be as famous as the two great pirate groups of Whitebeard and Kaido. The Buster Call dispatched back then used almost half of Marine's high-end combat power to capture him. At that time, the Marshal was still Kong. Geiringer said nothing more, held the saber in his hand, and walked away. Naval Headquarters. After the strong men of the old era finished chatting with each other, everyone looked at Marine's top commander Sengoku. Golden Lion chuckled. "Sengoku, long time no see. And Garp, after many years, Laozi has once again set foot in this field." And it will be you who fall this time. On the side, Bullet sneered, also targeting Sengoku. Because of you, I have lost more than 10 years of my life. Sengoku, I want you to experience this feeling. The Red Earl chuckled, I feel sorry for you, Sengoku. 1. You have almost reached the age of retirement, but you have encountered a situation like today. I'm afraid Marine will be set back hundreds of years in your hands. Pray for that guy Kong to show up quickly. I only seek revenge from him. I'm not interested in other things. In the distance, on the execution platform, Sengoku gritted his teeth, his heart filled with great experience. 4 emperors, the revolutionary army, the strong men of the old era. Whether it is high-end combat power or comprehensive military strength, Marine can be completely suppressed. How to fight this battle? Can Shane turn the tide against so many strong players? Difficult. Too difficult. A mouthful of saliva can drown everyone. All 3 admirals were not calm anymore. I originally planned to fight, but now everyone is afraid and thinking about the consequences after the battle. This war is destined to have no winner, and the current situation is not something Shane can handle alone. Many Marine soldiers were frightened, and the fighting spirit they had just ignited was completely exhausted. There is no way. If we fight these soldiers, even the elite will become cannon fodder. All around the world, the people of the world are sluggish, frightened, and frightened. A public execution turned into a dance of demons. Saboti Archipelago. Shaki secretly breathed a sigh of relief. I was originally worried that Rayleigh would not be able to leave Marineford. Now it looks like I can leave easily, so many familiar faces. I really miss it, it's like going back to the past. Golden City, inside the building, De Solo was extremely excited. Let's fight, it feels like we're going to fight. Ha 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 ha, Marine will be seriously injured today. And as the black dragon that amazes everyone, it will inevitably become the primary target for the strong to kill. Under the siege of so many strong men, the black dragon will die today. Soon I can buy fruits from Joke and start secretly forming my own army, ha 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 ha. I hope those strong men won't let the Black Dragon die too comfortably. Whether it was the common people, the leaders of other mid-level forces, or the king, their hearts were shaken violently when they looked at the current situation in Naval Headquarters. Will it turn into the ultimate battle? Will the world government sit back and watch this situation? Marine is the most powerful of the 3 major organizations. Once Marine is seriously damaged, the world government's combat power will be reduced by at least half. What will the world look like after today? Naval Headquarters. Shane watched as well-known strong men appeared one after another. He was already madly cursing the system in his heart. The mission is almost hellish. Okay, there are several more guys who can seriously damage Marineford with full force. If he makes a mistake, he can directly declare the mission failed. Headache. Depressed. However, at this moment, the system's voice suddenly sounded in his mind. It is not the sound of any attribute experience prompts. Open black lens bracket summit war mission completed. Congratulations to host for receiving the award. 1. Super breathing is directly promoted to the top level. It is detected that the host, super breathing, has reached the top level, and the reward will be added to the experience value. Shane immediately felt his super breathing experience skyrocket again. Originally he was just entering the top level for the first time, but now that this reward has been transformed into experience, Shane feels that his super breathing is about to break through again. Good. So fast, so strong, Shane muttered to himself silently. Super breathing. The large amount of added experience makes Gen N's super breathing reach the pinnacle level among the top. Hurricanes can blow off giant peaks, and extreme cold can freeze magma, several times more powerful than before. As long as the 4 emperors are accidentally frozen by themselves, they will all be finished. In my mind, the system voice prompted me. Open black lens bracket 2 open black lens bracket super defense close black lens bracket unlock world class. 3. Thermal sight is directly promoted to the top level. 4. Unlock new attributes, super healing. After completely listening to it, Shane was excited but also confused. Why are rewards settled? Summit War is not wrong. Shane thought of the key point. The Summit War was actually Whitebeard's battle to rescue Ace. But now that the Revolutionary Army and many strong men from the old era have joined, is it still a Summit War? It doesn't count anymore. Just as Shane was guessing, the system voice in his mind came again. Mission. The new war begins. 1. In the subsequent war of the host, the cumulative personal damage must account for 95%. The damage to the headquarters area cannot exceed 30%, and the death toll cannot exceed 20%. 2. Capture at least 2 people from the old era, 2 4 emperors, and 2 people above the Shichibukai level. If the host can complete the above tasks, he will receive rewards. 1. All attributes reach the secret level directly, and the world level upper limit of all attributes is opened. 2. Randomly evolving an attribute template will produce unexpected effects. 3. Open a new unknown attribute template. Close black lens bracket. Shane nodded secretly. It was exactly as he guessed. From the moment the Revolutionary Army and the strong men of the old era appeared, the Summit War was over. Next is a brand new campaign that is separated from the original development. It's just that this task is even more difficult. Although it is a brand new battle, everything before has been cleared. The degree of damage to the headquarters, the number of fatalities, etc. are now calculated. However, it is still extremely difficult. Moreover, the Revolutionary Army and the Blackbeard pirates appeared directly at Naval Headquarters and were in a stalemate with Sengoku, the three-day general and others. Once both sides take action, the mission will probably fail. Shane's head is as big as an ox's. The good thing is that the rewards are really rich. Licking his lips, Shane began to think about his next strategy. Meanwhile, Naval Headquarters Square, Blackbeard. The moment Ace saw Blackbeard, the anger in his heart suddenly burst out, and he stared at Blackbeard with wide eyes. Just now, Sabo had taken advantage of the Marine senior management to be blocked and had already helped Ace and Luffy unlock their handcuffs. So now Ace and Luffy are free. Yo, Ace, Captain. Blackbeard's tone was ambiguous and playful. Congratulations. I didn't expect you could still escape after reaching this point. Blackbeard, you don't deserve to call me Captain. Ace gritted his teeth while the flames on his body roared. Oh, Blackbeard scoffed. Ace, Blackbeard spoke loudly, opened his arms, and said with a joking face. You were defeated by me. Do you still want to experience failure again? Give up. As long as you agree to join my Blackbeard pirates now, I can give you the position of captain. Ha 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 ha. Get out. Ace was furious and rushed towards Blackbeard. Fire punch. The flames rose up, turning into a huge fist, and rolled towards Blackbeard. Blackbeard grinned, showing an extremely sinister smile. Dark water. Blackbeard shouted, and a black Uzumaki appeared on his palm. The flame was absorbed the moment it came into contact with this black Uzumaki. Many people around were surprised. What ability is this? Can actually absorb flames. Many people do not know this fruit power. Ace narrowed his eyes slightly and gritted his teeth. I have fought Blackbeard before and know Blackbeard's moves well. However, there is a limit to absorption. As long as your attack exceeds Blackbeard's limit, you can attack him. However, Blackbeard's smile across from him grew even wider. Captain Ace, Blackbeard said quietly. Next, let me show you my new abilities, ha 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 ha. While laughing, Blackbeard raised his hand again, but this time Uzumaki was spinning upside down. Ace's attack just turned into Blackbeard's power and returned to Ace. Ace snorted coldly, since it is my attack, it will naturally have no effect on me. However, Ace was soon slapped in the face. Blackbeard's returned attack was several times his original attack. Ace was knocked backwards by the force and fell heavily to the ground, blood spurting out of his mouth. Ace was in disbelief. Blackbeard, what are you doing? Luffy's expression changed and he hurried over. Ace, are you okay? And all around, other people's faces were full of surprise and surprise. Ace was knocked down by his own power. How is this going? It feels like Blackbeard has returned to power many times stronger than before. When everyone was surprised, Jaw spoke slowly. This seems to be the Momo fruit ability of the World Destroyer. Aokiji's guess made everyone even more confused. Oh, wasn't Brandy killed by Shane? Kizaru was confused. After demon fruit power is killed, the devil fruit he possesses will be reborn somewhere in the world. Besides, Blackbeard himself has devil fruit ability, how can he still have it? Akainu questioned. Ha 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 ha, Blackbeard laughs cover the whole place. He raised his arms and said excitedly, are you very surprised? Then let me tell you an even more surprising fact. Blackbeard was full of pride and showed off. Now Lousy has double demon fruit power. What? The surrounding Revolutionary Army, Marine, and other old era strong men on the port were all devastated. How is it possible to have dual devil fruit abilities? Demon fruit power obviously can no longer eat devil fruit power. Is this guy deceiving people? Many people didn't believe Blackbeard's words. After all, common sense tells them that the dual devil fruit ability does not exist. Blackbeard sneered, a cold light flashing in his eyes. Do not believe? Then I will show it to you and make you believe it completely. Lousy will use the Momo fruit ability to increase the dark acupoints. 100 times as many dark holes are enough to engulf Marineford. As Blackbeard spoke, dark fruit abilities began to appear around him, and darkness began to spread under his feet, like night falling on the earth. Port. Shane's eyes moved. Blackbeard is trying to destroy my first mission? Hello. King Lee, super flying, is activated, ignoring the 4 emperors, and the strong man from the old era rushes straight towards Blackbeard. In a short time, Shane appeared in front of Blackbeard. Blackbeard's expression changed. After seeing Shane, the shadow deep in his heart was awakened. However, soon, he suppressed the shadow and revealed a sinister smile. Black Dragon, Lousy now has the power of Momo fruit, what can you do to me? Ah, Shane chuckled, truly disgusted with Blackbeard's expression. Considering this is Naval Headquarters, Shane did not take action directly. Instead, he said to Blackbeard, Blackbeard, since you are so confident in your dual devil fruit abilities, then try to absorb my power. Saying that, without waiting for Blackbeard to respond, his eyes glowed red, and heat vision activated. The 2 rays went straight towards Blackbeard. The latter's expression did not change. He immediately stopped withdrawing the dark acupoint, raised his hand and shouted, "Dark water." Uzumaki, whose palm was as black as a black hole, appeared again, resisted Shane's heat vision, and then began to absorb it crazily. Blackbeard was still a little worried at first, but when his dark fruit began to absorb Shane's heat vision, his eyes suddenly brightened. "I am absorbing the Black Dragon's attack. The ray of the Black Dragon is very powerful. When the time comes, I will use the Momo fruit to bless it and return it to Shane." Blackbeard gets excited just thinking about it. "Maybe you can kill the Black Dragon. Kill this god of war. In this way, my reputation will soar and I can complete my follow-up plans ahead of schedule." Blackbeard became excited. "Ha ha ha, Black Dragon, grave. Come on, keep on going. Let's see how long you can last." All around, Marine executives frowned. This is bad. Shane's power can be absorbed, so wouldn't Blackbeard become Shane's nemesis? Ads by Bid Gear Chapter 69. A sneeze destroys an old era. "Shane, I'll challenge you all by myself." Blackbeard's smile was wild and he was extremely proud. He began to imagine how much his reputation would skyrocket after defeating Shane. How dazzling Shane was before, how shocking the world would be if he defeated Shane. "Lousy wants the whole world to remember my name, Blackbeard." However, soon, the smile on Blackbeard's face faded. Then he was surprised. Shaw and Blackbeard's pupils flickered, feeling outrageous. Why did Shane's attack last so long? The most important thing is that the laser energy emitted by Shane's eyes is very powerful, and the absorption of dark fruit is almost reaching its limit. But Shane's attack showed no sign of stopping, and Blackbeard's forehead began to sweat. "Blackbeard, you asked me to continue," Shane said calmly. "Now I not only continue, but I also want to do it harder." After saying that, Shane activated thermal vision with all his strength. Suddenly the heat vision energy emitted from his eyes was even more terrifying. Seeing this, Blackbeard couldn't stand it anymore. "Didn't you use all your strength just now?" It was already almost reaching its limit, but now it's even more intense, and it can't be stopped. Blackbeard didn't dare to absorb any more and planned to retreat to avoid Shane's attack. However, the absorption at this time had reached a critical point, and the originally normal black vortex suddenly became disrupted. Then it expanded rapidly and finally exploded violently. Boom! The fiery energy exploded and engulfed Blackbeard, and he flew out at the same time. Blackbeard's body was suddenly covered in pain, and the pain made him roll on the ground. "Ah, it hurts me so much, it hurts." Shane's attack was already powerful, but now Blackbeard has the side effect of eating dark fruit, which doubles the pain. This made Blackbeard feel that life was worse than death, and he was rolling on the ground without any image. All over the world, people were shocked to the extreme. The Black Dragon's eyes can shoot lasers, another brand new method. It is indeed a brand new method, but how can ordinary people's eyes emit lasers? How can the Black Dragon Admiral be an ordinary person? He is a god. The god of war in the army. After seeing Blackbeard absorb Shane's laser, many people were worried and afraid that Shane would fail. Shane is their hope. If 353 is defeated by Blackbeard, their hope will be shattered. Fortunately, Shane did not disappoint them. He still defeated Blackbeard. The Black Dragon is still invincible. The hope of the world is not extinguished yet. Headquarters on site. The members of the Blackbeard pirates were sweating on their foreheads as they looked at their governor's embarrassed appearance. How powerful is the Black Dragon's attack energy? Even the darkness cannot absorb it all. Are we going up? No one answered. No one moved. What the hell? There are so many strong players on the field now, and they don't want to be targeted. Port. 4 emperors, the strong men of the old era, are not surprised by Shane's heat vision. They have all seen it before. But I always feel that the heat vision is more powerful than before. The Black Dragon brat's progress is outrageous, Bullet said in a deep voice. Rayleigh glanced at Bullet in surprise. "Bullet, this doesn't look like you. You actually admit that others are strong and that others make you angry." Bullet was silent. If Rayleigh knew the complete process of the underwater prison, then he would understand. But Bullet himself would definitely not say such a thing. At this time, a laughter came from the sky. "There is indeed something, Marine's 4th Admiral. When I read the news before, first thought Marine was exaggerating the news." Everyone looked up and saw the smiling golden lion floating in the air. He had never come into contact with a black dragon before, but he came here specifically to join in the fun today. "Speaking of which, are you, Admiral Brat, imitating me?" The golden lion looked at Shane, who was also floating in the air like him, with disdain on his face. "It's a pity that the imitation is only superficial. Let you see what the real lion fruit is like." As soon as he finished speaking, a dozen giant marines suddenly vibrated outside the Naval Headquarters and then floated slowly. On the warship, the soldiers looked confused. What's going on? Why did the warship fly? Hurry up, jump down quickly. The marine soldiers on the warship had to jump off the warship one by one. Soon more than a dozen warships floated over the port, almost covering the entire sky. Scenes like this shocked the people present and reminded them of the reason. This is Lion Fruit's ability. Any inanimate body that has been touched by the golden lion can be controlled by him and levitated. Okay, What a terrible battle, all around the world. The world has never seen such a scene before, and it is extremely horrifying. Is this the energy of the strong men of the old days? How did Roger defeat such a monster? No one will be able to survive if this falls. What does the Black Dragon Admiral plan to do? This is completely different from a tsunami. If it is not handled well, Marine will suffer heavy losses. Use the laser just now to blow up all the ships. There's nothing we can do. It would be terrifying if a large piece of debris falls. Headquarters on site. Sengoku, Garp and other senior executives have heads as big as cows. It would be bad if Golden Lion smashed all dozen giant warships into the square. Everyone with Commodore level strength is ready. Let's deal with the Golden Lion's attack together. Sengoku's order made the 3 strong men like Admiral, Momosagi, and T-Dolphin prepare. Deal with it with all your strength to avoid too many deaths of Marine personnel. At this moment, Shane slowly floated above everyone's heads. Then Shane made a gesture to cheer up, but just when he was about to use super breath, he accidentally sneezed. Yawn. With a sound, a powerful air current appeared in an instant, and the hurricane roared with extremely violent momentum. The hurricane brought extreme cold and violent power to the Golden Lion. Originally, Golden Lion was still smiling and showing off his skills. But he was dumbfounded when he saw the hurricane caused by Shane's sneeze. What the hell? There was no time for the Golden Lion to react. The hurricane came oncoming and was as powerful as a knife, turning a dozen giant warships into pieces. A large amount of debris was blown directly out of Marineford by the hurricane and disappeared without a trace. The Golden Lion in the hurricane was cut open in various parts of his body by the knife like wind. In the end, he was blown against the ice wall and blood spurted out of his mouth. Also slipped down the tall ice wall. The whole audience was dumbfounded. Whether it was pirates, Marines, or everyone in the world were shocked by Shane's operation. At this time, I heard Shane say calmly, "Sorry, I just had an itchy nose and sneezed." Damn it. Are you still apologizing? Why did you accidentally sneeze? Whitebeard, Big Mom, Red Hair, Kaido, and Bullet were all strong men cursing secretly in their hearts. Isn't this too pretentious? They didn't believe that Shane sneezed accidentally. Otherwise, how could a sneeze hurt the Golden Lion? Do you really think we are idiots? But even if it was felt that Shane was not careless, but intentional, Shane's operation also shocked the people in Whitebeard, Red Hair and others. Why do I feel like this kid is getting stronger and stronger? Whitebeard said quietly. Even if I could breathe out the hurricane just now, it wouldn't be so terrifying. These people can still resist, but now it is powerful enough to traumatize the Golden Lion. Even though Golden Lion is old, suffers from various old diseases, and has seriously declined in strength, it still proves the terrifying strength of Black Dragon. Red Hair, Big Mom, Kaido and others were all speechless. They also discovered that the Black Dragon was getting stronger. Boff. You can continue to become stronger during the battle. What a monster, the red-haired man murmured. All over the world, people are going crazy. Holy shit, what did I see? The other party is the Golden Lion. The Black Dragon Admiral could injure the Golden Lion just by sneezing? Isn't this sneeze too powerful? In other words, the Black Dragon Admiral can kill anyone here with just a sneeze? Change anyone to all. Thank you. The Black Dragon Admiral is really awesome. Legendary pirates are useless in front of the Black Dragon Admiral. Excited. Excited. The world feels that it is witnessing an epic moment. Perhaps under the leadership of Black Dragon, Marine really has hope to win in desperate situations. She's eyes were full of expectation. Although the other Marines are not as outstanding as Black Dragon, there are still many strong ones. As long as we join forces, we will be a powerful force. Naval Headquarters, above the port. After the red-haired man sighed, he paused and then raised his voice and said to the audience. Everyone, we can't continue to fight alone. I know that you are all arrogant people and are confident in your own strength. But we have to admit that the Black Dragon is so powerful that none of us can fight it alone. The Black Dragon is the strongest in more than 800 years. All around, the strong men looked at the red-haired man. Long, Red Earl, Bullet, Rayleigh. Each of them is a well-known strong man with the ability to dominate one party. No one refuted the red-hair's statement that the Black Dragon was the strongest person in more than 800 years. You know, among these strong men, which one is not a proud person? Which one does not have a strong heart? But now, everyone admits that the Black Dragon is the strongest in the world. Bullet dared to challenge Roger one after another. Even if he was defeated, he would continue to challenge. Make Roger your goal, but facing Shane, a strong man, Bullet didn't dare. I don't believe that I can reach Shane's height and defeat him with my own strength. The red-haired voice continued. Everyone, we must join forces next. Everyone together. To destroy the dragon. No, 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 no. Although the injuries on his body have not healed yet, it is not a serious matter. It is enough to prove that those with zone fruit ability can heal themselves powerfully. Although I feel very unhappy, Lousy is the dragon. But today, Lousy is willing to call you the strongest creature. Red hair, let's join forces to let the dragon die. Kaido reignites the will to fight. Lousy joins in too. Bullet stepped forward. When I was in the underwater prison, I was beaten to the ground by the black dragon. Today Lousy will pay back everything. After saying that, Bullet is gearing up. Ouch, Bullet, you have really grown up. Rayleigh walked over with a smile. You wouldn't have talked about failure in the past, but now you have said it yourself. Bullet was cheerful. He sneered and said indifferently, I would like to ask, is there anyone here who has not suffered at the hands of the black dragon? Everyone is frustrated, no one has the right to laugh at anyone else. Bullet's words left Rayleigh speechless for a moment. What you say makes so much sense. As long as the black dragon is here, the road to revolution will not be fruitful, Long said in a deep voice, his expression solemn and solemn. So, if you want the revolution to succeed, you must shovel down the mountain of Black Dragon. We, the commander of the Revolutionary Army, join forces. Thief, ha 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 ha. If the Black Dragon is not eliminated, Lousy will not be able to calm down. Blackbeard chuckled. The fierce light shows up again. Each strong person responded to the red hair's suggestion and joined forces to defeat the Black Dragon. Just like what Blackbeard said, strong men like them will not be able to calm down until the Black Dragon is eliminated. The Black Dragon will be a mountain pressing on their heads, and they will never be able to get ahead in the future. Marine sighed. Sengoku's expression became solemn as he listened to the responses from the powerful forces from all sides. You are all targeting the Black Dragon, have you asked me? Have you asked all of us at Marine? If we attack the Black Dragon, let's start a full-scale war. Sengoku's sound is heard everywhere. Below, all Marines shouted in unison. If you want to kill the Black Dragon Admiral, you are becoming an enemy of his pirates. All of us, Marine, will fight together with the Black Dragon Admiral. Then start a total war. Generals are sharpening their swords one after another. Although the elite soldiers know that once a full-scale war begins, they are just cannon fodder. But at this moment they are not afraid. As long as the Black Dragon Admiral is here, they will have courage and confidence. The morale of everyone at Marine has been greatly improved. In the air, Shane laughed and shook his head. No need for you to intervene. One of the mission requirements is that Marines' casualties cannot exceed 20%. But there is another reason. Faced with the soldiers who shouted to fight for him in unison, even in Gujing's unwavering heart, Shane was moved at this time. Speaking of which, why did you get to the core position inexplicably? Alas, I really don't want to, it's so troublesome. Concentrate your thoughts and forget it, don't think about this anymore. Shane raised his hand and said to all Marines, today, just be a good audience. I accept the challenge of joining forces with the pirates and the Revolutionary Army. But the location of the battle must be on the frozen port. If anyone violates the rules, I will be the first to kill him. In fact, isn't the Redhead's proposal what Shane wants? In this way, all the conditions required for your mission can be achieved. Shane's words surprised the red-haired, Whitebeard, Kaido and other strong men. They didn't expect Shane to agree so readily. Do you really think you can defeat so many strong men? Asterisk 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 asterisk. Ads by Bidgear Chapter 70 excited. Finally broke Shane's defense. Super healing effect, no harm at all? Under the siege of 4 emperors just now, Shane broke through the defense. Although it was just a superficial injury, breaking the defense was breaking the defense. As long as he keeps fighting, Shane will definitely lose. Under such circumstances, does Shane still dare to challenge all the strong players by himself? Whitebeard, Red Hair, Ant, and others are all unable to understand. Behind the scenes, everyone at Marine could not understand Shaw En's behavior. Sengoku frowned and said, Shane, this war is not yours alone. You are strong, we know that, but you must also learn to let others help you share the burden. Otherwise, you will lose your life in just one thought. Below, Akainu nodded and said, that's right, you have done enough. Let us fight with you in the subsequent war. Kizaru said, yo, the opponent's lineup is very scary. With us together, you can kill everyone more easily. Usually Kizaru's favorite thing is fishing, but now he is watching Shane fight alone from beginning to end, and he is a little embarrassed to fish. I feel an inexplicable feeling of guilt. In the square, every Marine soldier was in high spirits. Black Dragon Admiral, let us fight with you. We hope to fight side by side with you. It is our honor to think that we can fight with you. That's right, as long as I can fight side by side with the Black Dragon Admiral, I feel excited just thinking about it. Up in the sky, Shane smiled bitterly in his heart. Do you think so? If it weren't for the hell-level mission given by the system, he would now be better at paddling and fishing than Kizaru. Shane had already floated over the port and put all his thoughts behind him. He did not turn around or turn his head, he raised his hand slightly and then said, everyone, please allow me to be willful this time. Please also trust me, I will finish this battle. Behind, the high-pitched shouts stopped, and no one understood why the Black Dragon Admiral did this. But they all chose to believe in Shane's choice. Black Dragon Admiral, we believe in you. Yes, we believe you. No one can break your invincibility. The shouts in the square started again. Amidst the shouts, Long and his revolutionary army arrived at the port. On the other side, Blackbeard smiled ferociously and led his cadres to resist the port. Whitebeard glanced at Blackbeard, with murderous intent in his eyes. Betrayal is the least allowed by the Whitebeard pirates, and the most important thing is killing one's own partners. At this time, the red-haired man next to him whispered, Whitebeard, the biggest enemy right now is the Black Dragon. I hope you understand this. Afterwards, I will help you. Whitebeard snorted coldly and replied in a low voice, Redhead, of course I know this. 17. I don't need you to help me afterwards, my sons and I can handle it. The red-haired man laughed and shook his head, saying nothing more. While the two were communicating, other strong men also took their places. Including the Golden Lion, which had just been knocked away, also flew back into the air. Although I am lucky, the problem is not too stressful. Golden Lion gritted his teeth and smiled, Black Dragon. Today is your death anniversary next year. Lousy will make you, a brat, understand the horrors of the old times. Ha, Shiki, this era belongs to the new generation, so we always talk about the old era. Rayleigh sneered. It's okay to use a little bit of afterglow, Kaido said in an unhappy tone. Rayleigh, are you from Marine or from us? Bullet clenched his fist and said coldly, why are you talking so much nonsense? Just get started. He couldn't wait to find the place where the underwater prison was before. Then let's start the war, Long Li shouted, ancestors. He stretched out his hand and a hurricane suddenly appeared. Blackbeard opened his hands and laughed. You can come forward, I will absorb the Black Dragon's attack. Before, he had to deal with it alone and found it difficult to absorb. But with so many people now, the previous scene will definitely not happen. Bullet shouted, Black Dragon, today I want you to feel the taste of defeat. Ha 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 ha, it's so cool, Golden Lion laughed. Everyone, if you need to vacate, just tell me. Let you experience the feeling of air combat. Ha ha, Shiki, you are so weird, Rayleigh sneered. What a pity. We don't need it. One by one, the strong men began to take action, and all attacks rushed towards Shane. On the square, as soon as the battle began, the powerful man's aura suddenly enveloped the entire Marineford, making the elite Marines break out in cold sweat and fill their hearts with fear. This kind of fear is inevitable, it comes from biological instinct. Fear disintegrated their previously ignited fighting spirit and destroyed their belief in Shane. It's much scarier than imagined. Even if there are elites present, a large number of them still fall. Can the Black Dragon Admiral win? The soldiers are silent. Can we win? They don't know either. With so many strong men joining forces, the horror displayed has exceeded their imagination. Marine executives are here. Sengoku, San Admiral, Garp and others were all in a cold sweat. Even the proud Akainu felt frightened at the thought of dealing with so many strong men on his own. Not to mention so many strong men, just 2-4 emperors are enough to make me choke. Is there really nothing wrong with Shane? Holy place Marijoy? Idiot! Geringer yelled as he stared at the phone bug. Why don't we come together? What exactly is the Black Dragon insisting on? Although I just defeated the 4 emperors' joint effort, my defense was also broken. Don't you know your bottom line? Geringer kept yelling and swearing, thinking that Shane was a lunatic. Choosing 4 emperors alone is enough to prove that one's strength is enough to shock the entire sea. Prestige, influence, and value are all displayed in Ultimate. Why do you still need to fight alone? Although the 4 elders and the 5 elders did not speak, they all frowned. They also couldn't understand the choice Shane made. Why bother? Where is Kong? Elder Satan asked. All around the world, the crowd was extremely nervous as they watched the strong men rush up and attack Shane. If the Black Dragon can win this battle, it will become a legend. Even if it is the next 500 years. No, even if it is 1,000 years, it cannot be surpassed. That's true, but no one expressed their worries. But facing so many strong men, can the Black Dragon win again? Difficult. Too difficult. Invincible will also get tired sometimes, not to mention that Hailong just challenged 4 emperors and suffered a skin injury, which proves that he is not invincible. Naval Headquarters. The attacks of the 4 emperors, the Old Era, and the Revolutionary Army were all unleashed on Shane. Hurricane surge. Explode with the power of collapse. The black thunder rages all over the place. Dragon, Whitebeard, Red Hair. None of them are strong enough to use their full strength. The starting hand is his strongest attack. 100 times stronger, Blackbeard roared, and the weapon in his hand suddenly became huge. Armament Hockey was armed, and the black long knife fell like a mountain. Bullet used his fusion fruit ability to transform into a supergiant and smashed him down with his giant fist. Thunder. 8 trigrams. Emperor Sword. The attack caused the ice to break, the seawater to surge, and the entire Marin Island to tremble, like a sign of doomsday. In the square, Sengoku, the 3 admirals and Garp rushed to the high wall to resist the aftermath of the strong bombardment. However, when several people joined forces, they were barely able to resist the aftermath, and there were still many aftermaths that swept across the square. This was unbearable for many Marine elites. Many of them had painful expressions and felt suffocated. Are these soldiers so frightened? Are they so terrifying? At this moment, the elite Marines felt like ants. In such a battle, as long as they got close, they would be directly affected by the aftermath and die. Is there really no problem with the Black Dragon Admiral? Marine soldiers are worried. The battles between strong men are never sloppy. After a round of attacks, the 4 emperors and the strong men of the old era dispersed one after another. Looking at the port where the seawater had dropped by more than 10 meters, everyone was staring in the direction of the billowing smoke. Did you make it? Under the gazes of one after another, the smoke and dust gradually dispersed. The figure of the Black Dragon also appeared in everyone's sight, and his body, which was rarely dyed red, was stained with red. Black Dragon Admiral. A huge wound appeared on Shane's chest, which looked very ferocious. Not only this wound, there are different wounds all over the body, but the most serious one is the crack on the chest. The Marine soldiers were immediately shocked, and people around the world were in an uproar. The invincibility of the Black Dragon Admiral has been broken. Many people covered their faces, afraid to look any further. Please give me flowers. Headquarters on site. Look at the fatal crack on Shane's body. The 4 emperors, the strong men of the old age, and the dragons are all inspiring. Success. Blackbeard said excitedly. He raised his hands in the air, extremely happy. Ha ha ha, thief, Black Dragon. This is what you get for being conceited. Golden Lion also laughed out loud. The scene just now is back. Black Dragon, have you felt the fear of death? Bullet grinned. The Black Dragon had made him feel the fear of death before, and now he wanted to let the Black Dragon feel it. Red Hair, Whitebeard, Rayleigh and other strong men were also overjoyed. They managed to break Shane. The most important thing is that it doesn't just break the defense a little bit. As long as it comes in the last round, the Black Dragon will most likely be hit hard. Without the Devil Fruit ability, he would most likely be useless. Huh, the red-haired man chuckled and said to Shane. Black Dragon, it's such a pity that a strong man like you has fallen. Although I am very reluctant to give up, I really want to see how far you can go, but I have to kill you. Only by killing the Black Dragon can they rescue Ace and Luffy. In the eyes of everyone, the blood on Shane's body was constantly flowing at this time, and he was in an extremely embarrassed state. However, what they didn't know was that Shane's inner peace was terrifying. I was still in the mood to complain in my heart. I didn't expect that I would be able to use super healing. When he unlocked this new attribute before, Shane thought that he would probably not be able to use it. 0 after all, I had super defense, but what I didn't expect was that it would come in handy soon after unlocking it. Shane smiled quietly. He was looking forward to it. Whitebeard, how shocked will the red-haired people be after seeing my super healing? Super healing. No matter how serious the injury is, as long as the head is not destroyed, you will not die. Shane raised his eyes and glanced at everyone present with a chuckle. Blackbeard, Bullet, Golden Lion and others frowned. At this point, can this kid still laugh? The red hair, Whitebeard and others were puzzled. However, everyone's faces soon began to change drastically. Look. Rayleigh was surprised and pointed at Shane's voice. We are not blind, Rayleigh. The corners of Golden Lion's eyes were twitching crazily. The body is squirming, the ant said in extreme shock. This is. Kaido understood and was extremely shocked. He yelled. The Black Dragon's body is healing. How is that possible? Bullet's face was filled with astonishment. How can that be possible? Can such injuries be cured? It's outrageous that the healing speed is so fast. In the shock of every strong man, Shane's physical injuries recovered as before, without any scars. If it weren't for the blood on his body, it wouldn't be obvious that he had been injured just now. Whitebeard, Red Hair, Kaido, Dragon. Each of the strong men was so shocked that they seemed to be petrified. Healed. Doesn't that mean all of their hard work caused 0 harm? Naval Headquarters Square. Sengoku, San Admiral. Everyone at Marine's jaw dropped in shock. There was such a rush of excitement in my heart that I forgot about my excitement. All around the world, everyone was stunned and shocked to the extreme. Black Dragon Admiral's injuries are all healed. The whole world was almost silent for 3 seconds. 3 seconds later, the whole world was boiling. The Black Dragon Admiral's invincible appearance is still intact. Strong, too strong. Ha 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 ha. 4 emperors, all the powerful men of the era must be dumbfounded. I didn't expect that the Black Dragon Admiral actually hid such a terrifying self-healing ability. The most terrifying thing is that this healing ability is so powerful that the almost fatal injuries on the chest have been cured. Black Dragon Admiral is awesome. The Black Dragon Admiral is mighty. The whole world congratulates the Black Dragon. This scene is enough to go down in history. Naval Headquarters Live. The 4 emperors, the strong men of the old era, the Revolutionary Army. They all want to know how the Black Dragon did it. It's even more terrifying than Kaido, the strongest creature, with his healing ability. It's obvious that Shane doesn't have devil fruit powers. He's simply not human. Shane touched his nose and looked around, ignoring everyone's surprise. He sneered. It's my turn next. Everyone, are you ready? As soon as he finished speaking, Shane raised his breath and exhaled a hurricane as his chest rose and fell. Super breathing. Activates, adds by Bid Gear. Chapter 71 The Red Hair admits defeat. It scares the strongest alliance in history. Port. A hurricane is sweeping across, bringing with it extreme cold. The faces of the four emperors, the strong men of the old era, and the revolutionary army all changed drastically. Sure enough, it is several times stronger than before. The red-haired man was sweating on his forehead. He was not sure before, but now he is more and more sure. The Black Dragon really keeps getting stronger in battle. But now there is no time to think about these people. The four emperors, the strong men of the old era, dragons and other strong men are avoiding the edge of Shane's super breath. The strong can avoid it, but it is difficult for others to avoid it. Under the hurricane, most members of the four emperors and the revolutionary army were frozen. Suddenly, there were screams everywhere, and all the people who were frozen were extremely panicked and started to break free frantically. On Shane's side, he didn't give the pirates time. After the successful restrained action of super breathing, he immediately activated heat vision. His eyes burst into red light, and dual lasers shot out immediately. Shane didn't pay any attention to where to attack first, he just went wherever he glanced. Ruined. Oh. No, wherever the heat sight passes, there is no grass growing, and the body melts directly, leaving only the remains. Many people's faces were full of horror, and some even cut off their own feet, or froze other places so that they could escape. The scene was bloody. The four emperors watched this scene with their eyelids twitching. Whitebeard gritted his teeth and said to the red-haired man, "We must work together to stop the Black Dragon." The red-haired man responded immediately, "Of course I know this. If they don't take action to stop the Black Dragon's massacre, I'm afraid they will all become mere commanders." Whitebeard took the lead, followed closely by the redhead. Not only are there two kings, 1, 3, 7, but Kaido and Big Mom also have a tacit understanding. There is no way. The army they have worked hard to build for so many years does not want to be destroyed like this. Whitebeard, Redhead, Kaido and Big Mom worked together to resist Shane's heat sight. The four emperors raised their hands and used Haki's outward approach to block. This scene is like the three admirals joining forces to resist Whitebeard's attack on the execution platform in the original work. The killing stopped just as soon as it arrived. At the back, many members seemed to have walked away from the gate of hell and lost their souls. It's so scary. Just now basically everyone felt like they were going to die. Some people even trembled all over, paralyzed with fear and terror. Many retainers of the Big Mom pirates even cried. If they had known this, they would not have helped Whitebeard, the red-haired man, and they would have put themselves on the stove. Ahead, the four emperors were also relieved. Finally resisted, otherwise he would really have become a polished commander. However, four emperors soon discovered something was wrong. The ant said in shock, "Why do you feel that the power of the laser is getting stronger and stronger?" Kaido looked ugly. "I feel it too." Everyone looked at Shane and saw him quickly flying towards them and others. The closer he got, the more difficult it was for everyone to resist. "The closer this thing is, the more powerful it is," Auntie said in shock. "What should I do now? I'm a little bit irresistible." The other three emperors didn't answer, but they felt it. The closer Shane gets, the more difficult it becomes to resist. After supporting Shane 20 meters in front of him, the four emperors' joint effort was completely defeated. Thermal sight passed directly through the bodies of the four emperors, making their expressions extremely painful and blood spurting out of their mouths. Shock in all directions. Dad, Marco came quickly with flapping wings. Ben Beckman, Jin, and Katakuri, all the cadres set off one after another, extremely anxious. Once Shane takes advantage of the victory and continues to attack four emperors, it is very likely that four emperors will fall. At this critical moment, Golden Lion, Bullet, Red Earl, and Dragon launched an attack from one side. The four strong men spared no effort and launched an all-out attack on Shane regardless of the consumption of strength. The combined attack of the four successfully knocked Shane away, interrupting his continued attack on the four emperors. Whitebeard, the red-haired man, Kaido and the red-haired man all breathed a sigh of relief. They did not dare to neglect and quickly retreated to check their injuries. On Shane's side, he didn't fall to the ground after being knocked away. He used super flying to stabilize his body. I was a little surprised. It seems that the continuous defense and super healing have made me a little tired. Otherwise, the strong man of the old era plus the dragon's attack would not have allowed him to fly backwards for such a distance. Can't play anymore. On the opposite side, Golden Lion, Bullet, Rayleigh, Long and others also saw that Black Dragon had consumed too much. But they are not optimistic at all. Although the Black Dragon's offensive was stopped, the situation of the four emperors was still not optimistic, and the blood holes on their bodies were shocking. This means their alliance strength is also down, and down a lot. And just as the old era strongman, Long and others made eye contact, Shane's offensive resumed. This time, Shane's offensive is even more fierce than before. Be careful. Red Earl was the first to react and warned others. But Shane's figure has already appeared in front of everyone, and he has upgraded, super flying, to ultimate. Okay, so fast. At this moment, everyone present was shocked. An inexplicable emotion rose rapidly in their hearts, making their spirits tense to the extreme and causing their adrenal glands to secrete wildly. Shane was in front of Rayleigh. Under the round glasses, Rayleigh's eyes were trembling violently. After so many years of adventure and so many years of retreat, he felt deep fear for the first time. However, instinct still made Rayleigh react quickly. He raised the long knife in his hand and wanted to make a cut on Shane. But he was punched away by Shane. The huge force caused Rayleigh's face to distort, her round glasses to explode, and she flew backwards. It wasn't until this moment that other people around him reacted. Golden Lion's eyes widened and he shouted, "Lion Majesty." He plans to use Lion Fruit's ability to quickly distance himself from Shane. As Shane thought, his chest heaved, and a hurricane filled with extreme cold came out of his mouth, super breathing. Golden Lion's, Lion Majesty, was frozen by the car's battery before it even started. On the other side, the Red Earl had already retreated some distance because he was the first to react. Before he could breathe a sigh of relief, a sense of crisis swept through his body. He turned his head in shock and saw two blazing rays of light shooting towards him, and severe pain spread throughout his body in the next second. Heat sight. Penetrates the Red Earl. Bullet's arms were shaking, everything happened too fast. In a short period of time, all the people who originally joined forces were traumatized by Shane. When Shane stared at him, Bullet wanted to retreat, but found that he couldn't move at all. Bullet's whole body was trembling. Before Shane could attack, the memory of death was already playing out in his mind. Scenes from childhood and scenes later. But soon Bullet was stunned when he realized that Shane in front of him had disappeared. What's the situation? Bullet subconsciously looked for Shane, but saw that he had already ignored him and went to find the Revolutionary Army. I saw Shane follow the same pattern, freezing the Revolutionary Army, and then using heat sight to carry out indiscriminate attacks. It didn't stop until the Revolutionary Army suffered heavy losses. Bullet's breathing began to quicken. The Black Dragon was ignoring him. Do you feel that you are not worthy of him taking action? Lousy is not worthy. What a joke. How could Lousy not deserve it? Number 7, however, Bullet's anger and impulse soon went out. He looked around at the Golden Lion, Bullet, Rayleigh and others, and his clenched fists relaxed. His strong heart was shaken. On Shane's side, the reason why he didn't take action against Bullet was because he sensed that Bullet was already timid. Since there is no longer a threat, it is not too late to deal with the others first, and then go back to deal with Bullet. So Shane went directly to deal with the Revolutionary Army. After killing some people, Shane started walking towards Sabo, Ace and Luffy. You two don't belong here, but on the execution platform, Shane said calmly. Don't even think about it, Long shouted, and his lower body turned into a dragon circle, Zhang En. The 4 army commanders, as well as other powerful cadres of the Revolutionary Army, Ivan and others took action together, but they were still unable to resist Shane's footsteps. Soon Shane came to Sabo, Ace and Luffy. Sabo and Ace's expressions were extremely serious. Even Luffy, who was usually fearless, was now very afraid of Shane. However, the two still made a fighting stance and planned to deal with Shane. At this point, the final outcome depends on God's will, Ace said solemnly. Ah. Luffy clenched his fist and responded. Maybe the Black Dragon will be defeated by us. Sabo sneered. Shane looked at the 3 brothers Sabo, Ace and Luffy joining forces, and felt a little emotional in his heart. But there is a high probability that Luffy and Ace still don't know about this matter. Judging from this situation, Sabo has not recovered his memory yet. Don't think about this anymore, Shane doesn't care about this. He smiled faintly. Kill me. As soon as he finished speaking, Shane exploded with super momentum. A terrifying aura suddenly burst out from his body, covering the 3 brothers Ace, Luffy, and Sabo. The expressions of the 3 people suddenly changed and their faces became distorted. Luffy's reaction was the most violent. He lay on the ground holding his head in pain and rolling around. My head hurts so much, it hurts more than when I was in Sabo the archipelago. Beside, Ace's face showed concern, but there was nothing he could do now. It was difficult for him to stay alone. The super momentum made Ace half crouched on the ground in discomfort, making it difficult to continue fighting. On Sabo's side, he was not much better, and he also lost his combat effectiveness. I smiled bitterly in my heart, helpless. What I just said was a complete joke. In front of the Black Dragon, these few of them are simply not enough. The other party can frighten them without taking action. The difference in strength is too big. After Shane used super momentum to make the 3 brothers lose their fighting ability, he then used super breath to freeze the 3 of them, restricting their ability to move. No matter how hard the 3 brothers gritted their teeth, it was still to no avail. I could only watch helplessly as Shane approached and then grabbed them. Damn it, Ace gritted his teeth. Shane ignored it and returned Ace and Luffy to the execution platform. This time there was one more person, Sa Ying. The 3 of them were restrained by Shane's super breathing, kneeling on the execution platform and unable to move. On the square, Everyone at Marine and Shichibukai were amazed at Shane's strength.
That's awesome! Exclamation mark quote. I really managed to fight against all the strong ones by myself.
Not only did it traumatize the four emperors in the old era, but it also brought back Ace and Luffy, two executioners. There is also Sabo, the second in command of the Revolutionary Army. On top of the high wall, Sengoku, Garp, and the three Admiral Army executives looked at the Marine lineup, which basically did no harm to the square.
Look at the tragic scene at the port. There are broken limbs and broken arms everywhere, and there is a lot of wailing.
It's like two different worlds. Shane really did it by himself against all the powerful ones. Yo, what level of strength has Shane reached now? The senior executives were silent, and no one answered. Because they don't know what level Shane's current strength is. In short, for more than 800 years, no one can match it. Shane caught the three brothers Ace, Luffy and Sabo on the execution platform and used super flying again to fly to the port without stopping. He will continue to output until all mission conditions are met. At this moment, Shane, who was flying in midair at the port, looked like a demon descending in the eyes of everyone present, and everyone was trembling with fear. Fear. Panic spreads in the hearts of all pirate group members in 4.6. At this moment, a voice resounded from all directions. I saw the red-haired man covering his bloody mouth and shouting in pain, "Black Dragon, stop. We admit defeat." This sentence resounded in everyone's heart. The whole place was in an uproar. The pirates were stunned for a moment, but soon breathed a sigh of relief from the bottom of their hearts. Many people lamented, finally free. Whitebeard suddenly looked at the red-haired man, his eyes flashed with sharpness, but he quickly restrained himself. No matter how unwilling he was, he knew it was over. If we continue, let alone rescuing Ace, the Whitebeard pirates will disappear. Kaido was silent and didn't say a word. The ant was overjoyed. I didn't want to fight for a long time. No strong person from Golden Lion, Bullet, or Red Count spoke out against it. Long was silent, put on his cloak, and hid his expression under the hood. He looked helplessly at Luffy on the execution platform in the distance and sighed helplessly. Although I don't want to lose my son, I can't bury the entire Revolutionary Army for my son. All around the world, after the people were stunned for a short time, they suddenly erupted into a roar like a mountain in a tsunami. Four Emperor's Redhead says surrender. It's over, ha ha ha. That's outrageous. The Black Dragon Admiral really defeated the first lineup in history with one person. The Black Dragon Admiral is invincible. Ha ha ha. With him in Marine, he is enough to scare all the little ones on the sea. Headquarters Plaza. Marine's entire body was boiling with excitement. The Black Dragon frightened the four emperors, the strong men of the old era, and the Revolutionary Army who joined forces to defeat them. Ads by Bid Gear Chapter 72. The Black Dragon is rarely angry. Kill Blackbeard. The Blackbeard pirates are destroyed. Naval Headquarters Live. Four emperors, the old era, and the Revolutionary Army, everyone felt helpless. The power of the Black Dragon is no longer something they can deal with all their strength. Even if they become the stepping stones of the Black Dragon after today, there is nothing they can do. Even in the hearts of some strong men, it is nothing to become his stepping stone. Black Dragon is indeed qualified. On top of the high wall, Sengoku, San Admiral and other Marine executives were greatly moved. The leader Sengoku couldn't help but smile. The red hair opened his mouth to admit defeat, and the other strong men were silent, indicating their acquiescence. And this means that Marine has won this war. It was still a complete victory. The Marines' losses were only a little, but the losses of the Marines and the Revolutionary Army were immeasurable. The most critical thing is the four emperors. The strong men of the old era and dragons are injured and it will be difficult to recover for a while. And the one who did all this is Black Dragon. It is foreseeable that the Black Dragon's influence in the world will be terrifying after today, and the prestige he brings to Marine and the world government is also inestimable. This is enough. Sengoku felt happy and planned to dismount and accept the red-haired offer from the four emperors to admit defeat. Firstly, the goals of Marine and world government have been achieved, and secondly, they will jump over the wall when they are anxious, let alone these strong men. Once his side cornered the four emperors, the strong men of the old era, and they began to massacre, Marine was afraid of heavy losses. Thirdly, it's time for Shane to take a good rest. Fighting alone until now, even Shane is probably exhausted. However, before Sengoku could speak, Shane, floating in midair above the port, spoke. Reject all surrender. I gave you a chance at the beginning, but you didn't take it. We must arrest you all today to put an end to the great voyage. The whole place was in an uproar. People all over the world cheered. They were tortured by the age of discovery unspeakably, and when Shane said these words, he undoubtedly hit the mark on what they most wanted to see. On the high wall, Sengoku's expression changed slightly, and he opened his mouth to say something. But in the end he didn't speak. Forget it, let Shane decide for himself. After all the credit goes to Shane. On the port, the faces of Hongfa, Whitebeard and other four emperors, the strong men of the old era, Long and others were extremely serious. They did not expect that the Black Dragon would be so decisive. It is arrogant to arrest them all today, but Black Dragon does have the capital to be arrogant. What to do next? Everyone is thinking about the next question. But at this moment, the silence was broken by a ferocious laugh. Thieves, ha ha ha. Black Dragon, are you sure you won't let us go? Eyes were looking for the sound, and Shane's eyes in the air were also looking at the source of the sound. Blackbeard was seen grinning ferociously, and a darkness emerged from the soles of his feet. When the darkness came, Jumping Fish and Hina were restrained. Behind the two of them, Fan Oka and Q held their guns against their heads. Chiyuan. Hina. Many people in Marine were shocked. They didn't expect Blackbeard to capture the two of them. On top of the high wall, Sengoku, San Admiral and others looked grim. The reason Sengoku planned to accept the red-haired surrender was because he had this in mind. Once the pirates know that they and others cannot escape, they will do anything they can. In the air, Shane frowned slightly. Momoshagi and Hina are both demon fruit powers, and were restrained by Blackbeard. Below, Blackbeard's eyes became more fierce and sinister, and he sneered again and again. Blackbeard changed his mind. Now that we have captured two hostages, they are still very important hostages, so we must make good use of them. Ha ha ha, thief, kill Whitebeard now, and then bring Whitebeard's body to me. Otherwise, these two beauties Marine. Blackbeard's grinning face flashed with fierceness. On top of the high wall, the faces of Marine senior executives became more and more serious. They were extremely angry and anxious, but there was nothing they could do. After all, if they make any move, both Momoshagi and Hina will die. People are not as fast as guns. What's more, the Blackbeard pirates put their guns to the heads of the two of them. All they had to do was pull the trigger, and the two of them would die. As for killing Whitebeard, all of Marine looked at Shane. In this situation, they could only rely on the Black Dragon. In the air, Shane hesitated. If it were one person, he could definitely save him by using his current, super speed, but now that there are two people, it would be a little difficult. As for killing Whitebeard, and just when Shane was hesitating, below, Blackbeard smiled like a devil. Time's up. Black Dragon. Blackbeard stretched out his palm towards Hina, and before anyone had time to react, he used his palm forcefully to twist Hina's neck. At this moment, everyone seemed to hear the sound of a broken neck. Momosagi's pupils dilated instantly, and his pretty face was filled with grief and anger. Old minister. Damn Blackbeard, bastard, I must kill you. In all directions, Marine exploded instantly, and everyone was extremely angry. Especially Smoker in the crowd. His anger turned him into smoke and planned to rush to the port. However, he was stopped by Chado. Don't be excited. Once we take action, Shi Yuan. On the high wall, Crane's expression changed dramatically, and he was extremely sad. Hina is a member of her special unit. On the side, Sengoku clenched his fists tightly and gritted his teeth. But now there is nothing that can be done. However, in the air, Shane's pupils shrank, and for the first time in time, he felt overwhelming anger welling up in his heart. Even if you threaten yourself, you actually dared to kill someone? Shane hesitated just now because with the current, super flying level, he couldn't save two people at the same time in an instant. And now, Shane moved, super flying, exploded, and in a split second, his figure disappeared into the air. On top of the high wall, Hawkeye suddenly felt a hurricane coming around him, as if something flashed past him. He was stunned and suddenly found that something was missing from his back and he had become a lot lighter. Hawkeye quickly turned around and saw that his black knife, Yi, was gone. This made him stunned on the spot. 0. Until then, everyone in the Blackbeard pirates discovered that Shane had disappeared in the air. Boss. Badgers was shocked and reminded quickly. Blackbeard's face also changed drastically, and he roared with fear in his heart. Black Dragon. Lousy still has a hostage in his hands. Since you want to watch her die, then Lousy will help you. Blackbeard roared and stretched out his hand to pinch Momosagi's neck. However, the next second, a flower of blood burst out in front of his eyes. Blackbeard's expression is dull and bloody. What's happening here? Soon, he saw his palm fall to the ground, and in an instant, the drama spread throughout his body. The severe pain caused Blackbeard's expression to twist. You must know that the side effect of dark fruit is to double the pain, which makes the pain of the broken hand even more severe. Ah! My hand. Blackbeard clutched his severed hand and fell to the ground in pain. Shane looked at Blackbeard rolling on the ground with cold eyes. Originally, I only planned to capture you alive, but you came to challenge my bottom line, fearing that you would not die. In that case, then I will help you. Shane's words made Blackbeard tremble. He ignored the pain and looked at Shane. Shane's face was extremely calm, with no emotion at all. However, Kaikia was like this, which made Blackbeard even more frightened. Such a black dragon was even more terrifying. Looking at yourself is like looking at a dog, and killing yourself is just simple. Blackbeard's face was full of horror. He raised his hand and said repeatedly, Black Dragon, I know I was wrong. Your Excellency, you have a lot of them. If you spare my life, I promise to roll as far as you can. I will definitely be obedient from now on. I promise, I promise. Seeing Shane getting closer and closer, Blackbeard was so anxious and frightened that he became hoarse. However, Shane paid no attention to what he meant, and without even saying a word, he directly raised his foot and stepped on Blackbeard's head. At this moment, Blackbeard felt the fear of death, and a bone-chilling cold enveloped him. Black Dragon. Blackbeard begged tremblingly. I know I was wrong, I really know I was wrong. Please spare me, I am 7 warlords of the sea, one of your own. The trampled Blackbeard was like a bereaved dog, bursting with snot and tears. Shane smiled, playfully. Are you wrong, Blackbeard? It's not that you know you're wrong, it's that you know you're going to die. Shane spoke slowly, then raised the black knife in his hand high and waved it down. Peefed. Along with the sound, Blackbeard's head rolled out and his body was in another place. The whole place was quiet, and both Marines and pirates fell into deathly silence. As for the Blackbeard pirates, after seeing their governor killed, everyone was in a state of despair.
Even the most reckless Badgies had only fear on his face at this time. He didn't dare to take action against the Black Dragon, so he turned around and ran away.
Poison Q, Katarina, each member ran as fast as they could. Shiryu of Rain cursed in his mind as he ran away. Damn it, if I had known, Lousy wouldn't have joined the Blackbeard pirates. Blackbeard is an idiot. He didn't bother provoking Whitebeard, but he didn't offend the Black Dragon. Can the Black Dragon be messed with at will? Run? Can you run away? Shane glanced around at the escaping Blackbeard pirates and sneered. Blackbeard and these people want to run away. How could they be allowed to run away? His eyes began to glow with blazing red light, and Shane fired heat vision at the escaping Blackbeard pirates. Poison Q was frightened, but before he could react, he was penetrated by Shane's heat sight. Before he could scream, Shane directly used heat vision to melt him. Now, even the 4 emperors have to work together to resist Shane's heat vision, let alone Zhang Q. After killing one person, Shane didn't hesitate at all and directly aimed at the other person. It turned out to be Shiryu of the Rain. Shiryu was shocked and he quickly raised his hand. Wait a minute, Black Dragon, I didn't join the Blackbeard pirates. I used to be the deputy of the underwater prison. However, Shane didn't want to hear what Shiryu had to say at all, and heat vision also penetrated him. The first time he didn't die, Shane continued to hit him one after another until Shiryu was completely melted. The remaining members of the Blackbeard pirates are terrified. Originally, some people thought about surrendering, but at this moment they understand that surrender has no effect. Shane will still slaughter them. Everyone was in despair, and Catalina lost her ability to move because of fear. Killed by Shane in desperation, until the end, only Finoka was left. He possesses a special devil fruit that allows him to leave Marineford instantly and go to other places. This made Fan Oka feel very confident, and he said in a deep voice, Black Dragon, let me go. I promise that after today, I will never show up again, and I will never do evil again. Finoka plans to negotiate with Shane. Once the negotiation is successful, he will not need to hide in Tibet from now on. When the negotiation failed, he used his fruit power to leave, and then looked for opportunities to take revenge on the Black Dragon. Whether it's Black Dragon's friends or family members, as long as it can make Black Dragon suffer, then do it. Shane smiled lightly. It seems you are very confident in your devil fruit ability? I actually gave you the confidence to negotiate terms with me. Fan Oka was stunned. Does the Black Dragon know his devil fruit ability? How is it possible? I haven't shown the fruit yet. But at this moment, Dika felt a black shadow appear in front of his eyes. He took a closer look and found that he ran was a Black Dragon. This. Fan Oka was shocked and immediately used his devil fruit ability. The scene changed instantly, and various bubbles appeared in front of Fan Oka's eyes. Sabo de Archipelago. Fan Oka murmured, and at the same time he breathed a sigh of relief. It seemed that he had successfully escaped. But soon Fan Oka discovered something was wrong. He couldn't feel his lower body, and began to experience severe pain throughout his body. He lowered his head suddenly and saw that his lower body had disappeared, and the ground was covered with blood. Marineford Headquarters. With Van Oka's lower body falling, it was announced that Shane would destroy the entire Blackbeard pirates. The pirates were all gasping for air, it was so scary. Shane held the black knife in his hand and turned to look at the pirates again. He shook off the blood on the black knife and said, if you surrender obediently, you will save your life. If you continue to resist, the Blackbeard pirates will be doomed. All around, the 4 emperors, the strong men of the old era, and the revolutionary soldiers are in danger. They all knew that the Black Dragon was really angry this time. It's true. A Colonel Hina died on Marine's side. Originally, Marine did not suffer much damage. Speaking of which, everyone admires Blackbeard. This guy really dares to threaten the Black Dragon. The most important thing is to increase the intensity and kill a hostage. If we don't kill them, the Blackbeard pirates probably won't die. No one said a word, but no one dared to act rashly. At this moment, Kaido whispered, Black Dragon, are you pushing your limits? The red hair has already said that he will admit defeat, but he still wants to take us all away? Isn't that too aggressive? Ads by Bid Gear Chapter 73. The mission is completed and unlocked. Super Blood? Can the dead be resurrected? The whole place was quiet except for Kaido of the Beasts, who was still shouting and questioning Shane. A smile appeared on Shane's originally expressionless face. He smiled, but this smile made the redhead, Whitebeard and others feel creepy. Very good. Shane looked like he loved people like Kaido. The four emperors like Red Hair and Whitebeard are still hesitating. Now that Kaido has jumped out on his own, he can definitely take action on Kaido. Completely destroy all illusions of other strong men. After saying, very good, Shane's eyes burst into red light, giving Kaido no chance to continue shouting. Thermal vision pierced Kaido's body. There was originally a blood hole, but now there is another blood hole. Kaido's pupils were widened and his expression was extremely painful. He, the strongest creature, has strong defense and will not be harmed even if he jumps from a height of 10,000 meters, but now he is like a piece of tofu in front of Shane. Being manipulated easily. Shane. Kaido gritted his teeth with a painful expression, and his eyes were filled with anger towards Shane. Unwilling. Why can Shane be so powerful? At this moment, Kaido suddenly felt his shoulders sink. When he looked up, he found that Gen N had appeared above him at some point. Shane. This caused Kaido to jump up and Shane got close, which was a very bad thing. Shane stood on Kaido's shoulders and trampled Kaido of the beasts, who was known as the strongest creature in the sea, land and air, under his feet. Today's super flying super has surpassed Kaido's speed when using Thunder 8 trigrams. Shane raised his hand and held Kaido's horns with both hands. Kaido, it hurts. I have to endure hunger. When Shane said this, he was very soft and gentle, but what he did was extremely violent. Super strength exploded, and Shane's arms exploded with unparalleled power. Under this power, he forcibly broke off a pair of horns on Kaido's head. Ah! Kaido was in such pain that Ultimate's cry of pain resounded throughout the Marine Plaza, making everyone feel palpitations and tightening in their hearts. Both horns were abruptly severed by Shane, which not only caused physical pain, but also pain on self-esteem. The self-esteem of a strong man was severely trampled by Shane at this moment. But at this moment, Kaido couldn't care so much. At this moment, he felt the threat of death. As long as Shane is willing, he will die today. Everyone was silent and watched all this in horror. At this moment, everyone felt that they and others were being pressed by a giant hand and were unable to struggle away. Struggle and resistance can only lead to death. The red-haired man's eyes flashed, and he couldn't understand why a super monster like Shane suddenly appeared in this world. The most important thing is that it has only been 2 years since the original prophecy, and such a monster has appeared in Marine. Is it possible that that person can still appear? I gambled away half my arm in exchange for hope, and I was afraid that I would be executed by Marine soon. The red-haired man felt complicated, uncomfortable, and desolate, but in the end all his emotions turned into a sigh. He smiled bitterly. The invincible strong man is born, what else can we do? With that said, the red-haired man looked at Ben Beckman and others, and then he took the lead in throwing away the griffin in his hand and declared complete surrender. Ben Beckman, Lucky Lou and others watched their captain throw away the weapons in his hands, and they did not feel anything wrong, nor did they feel that the captain had abandoned their dignity. On the contrary, they all breathed a sigh of relief. People would really die, but they didn't have to die. Everyone in the red group surrenders. Whitebeard let out a long sigh, and also signaled his white group to surrender like the red hair pirates. The ant was cursing crazily in her heart, regretting endlessly. If she had known it would be like this, if she had known Shane was so pervert, she would not come today. Now it's time to reward yourself with the underwater prison tour. Big Mom finally gave up her resistance and surrendered. In the rear, even Katakuri, who claimed that his back never fell to the ground, also surrendered. He smiled bitterly in his heart. This time, he did not fall to the ground on his back, but he was completely defeated. And the reason why he didn't fall to the ground on his back was entirely because Shane looked down on him and didn't bother to mess with him. Just as the 4 emperors were surrendering one after another, Dragon suddenly burst out and yelled, "Molly, it's now."
Molly raised her trident high and did not dare to neglect at all. I will take you away right now.
My devil fruit can create a special passage. No matter how strong Shane is, he can't find it. Molly's push fruit can create a special space, which is why the existence of a special paradise in the underwater prison has not been discovered.
When the trident was inserted, the ground suddenly became soft, like a wave, which was easily pushed away.
Molly immediately fled with everyone in the Revolutionary Army. It was up to them to leave as much as they could, otherwise things would be bad if they all fell into Marine's hands. On top of the high wall, Sengoku and other senior officials frowned and wanted to stop it, but they couldn't stop it at all. At this moment, Shane chuckled, his eyes burst into red light again, and then, heat vision, exploded to the ground, and then he jumped up and used super power to completely smash the ground into pieces, list countless cracks. Faced with Shane's absolute power, Molly and others were forcefully forced out by him. As long as the power is absolutely strong, no matter whether you create a special space or not, you will still suffer. Molly helplessly looked at the dragon in the distance, indicating that her escape plan was ruined. Long's expression had an unexplainable meaning, and finally he loudly shouted, "Everyone throw away their weapons." This sentence also announced the surrender of the Revolutionary Army. Long didn't dare to gamble anymore. Once Shane got angry and became murderous, the Revolutionary Army would be destroyed by him. In fact, what Long didn't know was that Shane had shown mercy, otherwise he could have killed Molly when she escaped. At least Mingjun's philosophy was good, and Shane didn't kill him. The four emperors surrendered, the Revolutionary Army surrendered, and the strong men of the old era such as Golden Lion, Bullet, Red Earl and Rayleigh had no choice but to surrender. They also did not dare to gamble, for fear that they would be killed on the spot if they did not escape. The moment he surrendered, Bullet felt relaxed. He suddenly missed the life in the underwater prison. He pretended to be sophisticated every day to scare other inmates and make them respect him. Although he said he had lost his freedom, at least he had the dignity of a strong man in prison, and his dignity would not be trampled on like now, even worse than a dog. In Marine Plaza, the Marine soldiers were sluggish and were still in a state of confusion until this moment. Did they win? To be honest, the Marine soldiers present felt a bit fake. They haven't taken action yet, so they won? All over the world, there was also silence, and everyone felt unreal. I originally thought that it would be an extremely brutal battle, and that Marine would inevitably suffer huge losses and be severely damaged. However, Marine's losses were extremely small. Most of the fallen soldiers fell due to the bombardment of Conqueror's hockey from both sides of the strong side, and were not injured. A small number of them died due to the impact. And the only person above the rank of general who died was Hina. Although it is a pity, it is still a great victory for Marine overall. On top of the high wall, Sengoku actually felt a bit unreal. Before he and others did anything, Haki broke out once, and then just watched the whole process. Then he was stunned by the various powerful abilities of Akainu's son, exclaimed a few times, and finally ended the war. Although the war was won and Marine won a great victory, I felt so ashamed for no reason. Not only Sengoku, but other Marine senior executives also have similar ideas. Kizaru, on the other hand, has a special liking for catching fish. Originally, he just wanted to show off in this battle, and he would catch as many fish as he could. Unexpectedly, he was fishing all the time, and this fishing made Kizaru feel a little guilty. I just wanted to catch a little bit of fish, but I didn't expect to catch fish all the way. However, as a Marine senior executive, Sengoku finally stepped forward to take charge of the situation and raised the speakerphone bug in his hand. No matter how ashamed he was, he still said loudly, "Everyone. Marine. Big win." The sound was so loud that it resounded throughout the entire venue and throughout the world through the live broadcast. This announcement also broke everyone's sense of unreality and brought everyone back to reality. The whole audience cheers. The whole world cheers. In an epic battle, justice won the final victory. On the high wall, listening to the passionate chants of the soldiers on site, as well as cheers from all over the world, Sengoku's emotions were also infected. This made him feel excited and excited. Sengoku spoke to the speakerphone again. "Everyone, today's battle belongs to Shane Admiral. With one person's power, he dominated the entire battlefield. With one person's power, he suppressed all evil spirits. With one person's power, he defeated the four emperors, the Revolutionary Army and the strong men of the old era. Let's say congratulations to the 4th Admiral Shane. Let's do it for." Sengoku kept talking, making the mood of the scene reach a climax. The soldiers and generals all shouted, "Shane Admiral is awesome. Shane Admiral is invincible. Shane Admiral is the strongest in over 800 years. The world is boiling. Shane's name of Black Dragon is resounding all over the world at this moment. The Black Dragon dominates the entire war with one punch." On top of the high wall, Hancock was completely immersed in Shane's strong and heroic posture. She put her hands on her mouth, admiring Shane, the invincible strong man, in her beautiful eyes. However, Hawkeye on the side felt melancholy. He was struggling with one thing: should he get back his black knight?
Go get it. He was a little scared, really scared. Didn't he see Blackbeard was killed and Kaido was beaten to death?
But if you don't go and get it, you won't be able to part with it. This is the best black knife in the world. Extremely confused, Shane, on his side, quickly motioned for everyone to arrest the four emperors. In this arrest, Akainu, Aokiji, Kizaru, Garp, Zephyr and other powerful people personally took action. Even the Vice Admiral was not qualified to participate in the arrest. If you're not careful, you'll die. However, Marine was too cautious. Shane was watching at the scene. How could the four emperors resist? How could they rise up? Since they have chosen to surrender, they just don't want to die. Shane didn't pay much attention to it. He watched all this silently. When the four emperors, the Revolutionary Army, and the strong men of the old era were all restrained by Seastone, the system's voice sounded in his mind. "Nice. I was waiting for this. Congratulations to host for completing the task. Personal damage accounted for 95%, achieved. The damage to the headquarters does not exceed 30%, achieved. No more than 20% of personnel killed, achieved. Arrested 2 old era, 2 four emperors, and 2 Shichibukai level or above figures, achieved." Shane listened to the purpose of each mission. The goal is achieved and the mood is good. He was afraid of losing his temper just now, because the battle was all at the port, and the damage to the Naval Headquarters was not too serious. So just now when he was preventing Molly and other revolutionary troops from escaping, Shane floated and used heat vision and super strength, but the damage was still no more than 30%. Congratulations to the host for receiving the reward. All unlocked attribute levels have reached the secret level, and the level cap of all attributes has been unlocked, world level. Evolve, super flying, and obtain the effect, instant flash, can be upgraded, current level. Elementary, as long as you can see it, you can reach it instantly. To the effect of instantaneous jumping. Good, hearing the effect of evolving, super flying, Shane was moved and flashed. This is quite awesome. Shane's heart was racing and he tried decisively. He looked towards Sengoku standing on the high wall. Immediately activated the flash effect of super flying and arrived at Sengoku's side in an instant. Sengoku was still in a good mood watching this unimaginable scene, but suddenly he felt someone appear next to him and he was startled in his heart. Shane. Sengoku was a little confused. Why did Shane suddenly appear here? At this time, a soldier suddenly asked in horror, "What happened? The Black Dragon Admiral suddenly disappeared? Where did he go?" At the Marshal's side, "What the hell? What the hell? Why didn't you see him move? It feels like I have teleported to the Marshal's side." Shane was the center of attention. With so many people present, all eyes were on him. He used the flash effect, and everyone saw Shane disappear instantly, and then appear next to Sengoku the next second. This shocked everyone. They didn't see the Black Dragon using flying. The port, the four emperors, the old era and the Revolutionary Army, as well as the Marine executives who were enforcing the restraints, were also fooled. Hey, what's going on? Aokiji looked confused. Although Shane was very fast before and it was difficult for them to catch him, he did take action. But this time, Shane made no moves at all and appeared directly in the battle. You can't catch the country at all, as if you arrived instantly. This operation immediately stunned everyone present. I don't understand how Shane did it. As for Shane, he was in a good mood and at the same time he heard the system voice in his mind. The final reward unlocks new attributes, Super Blood Factory. Ads by Bid Gear Chapter 74. The world is shocked again. Resurrection from the dead. Meet Yim and join the Celestial Dragons. At this time, Shane was in an extremely happy mood. Super flying. Evolved the effect of blink, which is equivalent to teleportation. As long as it is wherever you look, you can reach it instantly. Whether it is in battle or in other scenes, it is a top-notch ability. The most important thing is that you can evolve. When you evolve to the secret level and the world level, does it mean that you can teleport to any place in the world? If he continues to evolve, he may be able to teleport across planetary distances like Sun Wukong from 7 Dragon Balls. Tired of staying on the pirate planet, why not take a trip between planets? As for whether there are people on other planets, Shane 100% guarantees that there are, because the setting of One Piece already has the concept of space pirates, and Enel even landed on the moon. Shane stopped his thoughts and looked at the newly unlocked attribute, Super Blood. After reading its introduction, my evaluation of this new attribute is extremely awesome. Its appearance turned this, Superman, into the world's best dad in an instant. Using your own blood, you can heal any injuries of the injured, regenerate their severed limbs, and resurrect the dead. At this moment, Shane couldn't help but look at his palm. At this moment, he had a question: is he still an ordinary person? Although it still cannot reach the explosion star, it can be regarded as transcending the mortal body. He couldn't figure it out. After all, there was no comparison now. Shane simply stopped thinking about it and looked at Hina. Hina is dead, having her neck broken by Blackbeard. At this time, she is surrounded by Momosagi, the eldest sister, he, the mentor, and Smoker, a comrade who entered the Marine at the same time, and there are others who are related to Hina. Not a bad soldier. Everyone's faces were filled with grief. Such an excellent Marine general died like this. Shane pondered, then jumped into the air and came to Hina's side. When the sad people saw the arrival of the Black Dragon, they all moved out of the way. Looking at Shane's expressionless look, Shane was afraid that he would blame himself, so he said in a deep voice. Shane, I can't blame you. I can only say that Blackbeard is too despicable. It's amazing that you have done what you have done now. To everyone's surprise, Shane chuckled lightly, without any sadness on his expression, and asked everyone in 547. Why are you all crying and sad? Everyone was stunned and didn't understand why Shane laughed. Momosagi's congratulations to Shane were better. He was extremely angry at Shane's disrespect for the deceased and questioned Shane angrily. Shane, still smiling, came to Momosagi and immediately put his hand on Momosagi's head. Chiyuen, why are you so anxious? Hina is not dead. Momosagi became even more angry. Is Gen-un telling lies? If you don't know how to comfort people, don't comfort them. Faced with Momosagi's anger, Shane laughed heartily and didn't intend to show off, lest he be beaten by Momosagi later. He has a good relationship with Momosagi, and with Momosagi's character, he might really beat him up. Shane directly raised his hand and threw the blood on Hina's body. Shane, what are you doing? He frowned, very confused. Momosagi was also stunned for a moment, not knowing whether to be angry or what to do. But before they could wonder for too long, something shocking happened to everyone in the next second. I saw the blood thrown out by Shane being absorbed by Hina's body, and then Hina's broken neck began to move, making a caw sound. Smoker was horrified. What happened? Neck is recovering. Momosagi opened his mouth wide and was beyond surprise. At this moment, an unbelievable thought came to his mind. Can Shane's blood resurrect Hina? No, impossible. How can such a thing as resurrection happen? However, it really happened in front of my eyes. I saw that Hina's fatal injuries were healed, and her dilated pupils returned to life again, followed by her breathing recovery. Hina is resurrected. Without waiting for the people around him to scream, Shane jumped into the air, and all eyes were fixed on the Marine soldiers who died one after another due to the impact of the war. Immediately after throwing his own blood on their corpses, these dead people, like Hina, began to recover from their fatal injuries, and finally came back to life. The resurrected people were all confused and had no idea what had happened. After the audience was silent for a few seconds, shouts of exclamation resounded throughout the audience. What the hell? The blood of the Black Dragon Admiral actually resurrected his dead comrades. Isn't it too heaven-defying? Does the Black Dragon Admiral still have such tricks? So, isn't the blood of the Black Dragon Admiral a heaven-defying medicine? Have you ever seen any medicine that can revive people? The Black Dragon Admiral is actually a god, right? Come down here and let us play in the human world? All over the world were also stunned by Shane's magic trick. The world's 3 views were completely shattered. It turns out that there really is a heaven-defying method of resurrection in this world. Is there anything the Black Dragon Admiral can't do? God. God. God of the world led by the Black Dragon Admiral. Holy place Marijoy. All the 5 elders stood up, and Geiringer said in astonishment, Shane's blood can be resurrected. Ha ha. Ha 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 ha. Geiringer was extremely excited. I haven't gotten the op fruit yet, and I'm already old. With Shane, a heaven-defying guy here, wouldn't I be able to be resurrected? Where in the back of Geiringer's heart does he still have the slightest thought of resisting Shane? He looked at the 2 elders, Satan and Moss, and expressed their wisdom in wooing Shane. The other elders also expressed their approval of the 2 elders' original choice, and were glad that they had roped in Shane. The ceremony for Shane to join the Celestial Dragons is scheduled for tomorrow, Elder Sarton ordered. Ha ha ha. You can do it today. Letting Shane be your own is much more valuable than executing Ace and Luffy, Elder Nasushiro said urgently. At this moment, the phone bug in Elder Sarton's arms rang. Seeing this phone bug, the 5 elders' expressions immediately became serious, and they were surprised when they looked at each other. Lord I Am actually took the initiative to contact him and others? The 5 elders didn't dare to hesitate at all and quickly answered the call. Im's brief words rang out from the other side of the phone. When Shane comes to the Holy Land, bring him to see me. After saying that, I Am hung up the phone. However, such short words shocked 5 elders ultimate. Did Lord I Am take the initiative to ask to see Shane? Unprecedented. But after thinking about it again, I think it makes sense.
Shane's performance is beyond estimating his value.
This kind of existence is very normal for Lord I Am. I just don't know what Master I Am is going to do when he meets Shane. The 5 elders are all curious. In short, everything will be clear when Shane comes to Naval Headquarters. This is Naval Headquarters. Shane resurrected the dead, and then watched the 4 emperors, the strong men of the old era, and the Revolutionary Army being arrested one after another. He will not stay here any longer. Now he has nothing to do and no tasks to do, and he won't care about the next thing. Shane's vision turned to the residential area on the hill behind Naval Headquarters, towards his home, and the next second he disappeared above the high wall, disappeared from everyone's sight. Everyone present was shocked by Shane's magical skills. Gone again? Where did the Black Dragon Admiral go this time? I don't know, you can't see his shadow in the audience. 100,000 eyes were looking for him, but there was no trace of Shane at all, as if Shane had disappeared. Sengoku, who was on top of the high wall, was extremely shocked. Seeing Shane's disappearance with his own eyes made him clearly aware of the horror of Shane's method. Without any motive, without any movement of raising his hand, he disappeared instantly, and others had no idea where he had gone. When used against an enemy, this move can make the enemy doubt their life. Whether it is attacking or escaping, it is perfect to the ultimate level. Below, Marine senior executives were also amazed. Whitebeard, Red Hair and other 4 emperors, as well as Rayleigh, Golden Lion and other strong men from the old era, as well as the Revolutionary Army, all broke into cold sweats.
Shane didn't use all his methods just now. The red-haired man was completely stunned.
The most terrifying thing is that even observation hockey cannot predict the Black Dragon's movements and where he goes. Horrible. At this moment, all the strong men felt the chill from deep in their hearts. If Shane had used this move just now, would they still be able to attack Shane?
Shane wouldn't be injured at all under their attack.
Everyone was completely aware of the gap between themselves and others and Shane. When facing this war, the other party did not use all his strength at all, he was just playing, and getting beaten was just part of the game. At the same time, everyone breathed a sigh of relief. Fortunately, Shane was just playing, otherwise they would still be standing now. As for Shane, after returning to the hotel, he stopped listening to what was going on outside the window. He also had no interest in whether Ace and Luffy would be executed in the end. However, before he had time to rest, Shane received a personal letter invitation from the 5 elders, asking him to go to the Holy Land with his chief father, and Marine senior management went with him. Since it was a direct mobilization letter, Sengoku and others had no choice but to end the live broadcast, terminate the execution, and follow Shane and others to the Holy Land Marijoy first. Holy Place Marijoy. At the gate, all the Celestial Dragons families showed up, including the 5 Elders, the Knights of God, Kong, CPO's top espionage officer, and all the world government's top officials, all present to welcome Shane and Sakazuki. After Marine and others arrived at the Holy Land, everyone was dumbfounded when they saw this scene. How long ago had you and others received such high standards of treatment? Of course. Sengoku, Garp and others know in their hearts that everything is thanks to Shane. Even Akainu will join the Celestial Dragons. In fact, everyone knows that he is just incidental. What the world government wants, what the 5 Elders want is Shane. Akainu himself knows this very well, but now he is used to it, and maybe he should really step back and enjoy the halo brought by his son. Ha 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 ha. The 5 Elders, the leader of the welcoming team, immediately laughed heartily when they saw Shane and others arriving. He is extremely passionate and does not look like a guy with the highest power at all. Shane seems to be on the same level as them. Sengoku, Garp and others were amazed when they saw it. Over the past 800 years, Shane is the only one who has been able to achieve this kind of treatment. His value must be respected even by the 5 Elders. The dandy Celestial Dragons around them all had extremely flattering smiles, and they treated Shane, an admiral who was not yet a Celestial Dragons member, with the utmost respect. There were bloody examples in front of them before, but they had heard that Shane killed Celestial Dragons without blinking an eye. If I and others offend this god of death, they will probably wash the Holy Land with blood today. Scared. Rather than offending Shane, it is better to please Shane and gain huge benefits. They didn't watch the live broadcast of the execution, but they heard that Shane's blood could bring the dead back to life, and everyone was greedy. Thinking of pleasing Shane, if anything happens in the future, you can ask Shane for help and let him treat you and others. In the welcome of the 5 Elders and the top leaders of the world government, Shane and Akainu quickly performed the Celestial Dragon's coronation ceremony. Hosted by Elder Satan among the 5 Elders, he stood on the stage of the luxurious coronation ceremony and announced to everyone present. Everyone, today the world's highest noble will usher in a brand new family. In over 800 years, this is the first time that Shane's family has joined the world's highest aristocracy. Elder Satan spoke high-sounding words, which made Shane sleepy.
He has no feelings about being a Celestial Dragons, it's all about Dr. Ren.
While Shane was thinking about this, the coronation ceremony soon began. The 5 Elders personally issued certificates to Shane and Akainu as the world's highest nobles, and also gave them a large sum of money.
Shangjan is the starting point. And just after Shane was confirmed to become a Celestial Dragons, a reminder that the system had completed the mission sounded in his mind.
Congratulations to host. All current attributes have been upgraded to World Class. Attributes that have reached World Class can be superimposed with experience points. Close black lens bracket. Shane quickly looked at his properties panel and immediately felt happy.
Attributes such as Super Strength and Super Defense have reached World Class, and the experience value has been greatly increased.
As for the new attribute, Super Blood, its level ranges from Elementary to World Class. After everything was over, Elder Sardin came to Shane and whispered to Shane. Shane, next we 5 Elders will take you to meet someone alone. You must have absolute respect for this person and at the same time maintain absolute confidentiality. After listening to Elder Sardin's words, Shane immediately guessed who this person was. He was extremely surprised. Didn't he expect that I would have to meet him on the first day he joined Celestial Dragons?
What's happening here? Shane is a little confused.
Ads by Bid Gear Chapter 75 Boros, Ein's Captain. New task, fight Boros. Holy Land Marijoy, Pangu City. There were only a few people in the long corridor, Shane and the 5 Elders. The others had been sent away, and Akainu went to the Holy Land to choose an address. Although I don't care where I live, I still need to go through the process. Shane was led here by the 5 Elders. Looking at this familiar corridor, he was very sure that the 5 Elders were indeed going to meet IM. That's outrageous. In fact, most of the Celestial Dragons were unaware of IM's existence, but as a person who had just joined the Celestial Dragons, he was actually asked to meet. He was surprised, but Shane didn't have the slightest fear. How can IM live a long life? His strength cannot be better than his own. At most, he is only 50 to 50 equal to his own.
If something goes against you, you are not afraid. This is your confidence in your own strength.
Certainly. Shane naturally hopes that the two parties will be peaceful and polite, and he is too lazy to fight.
I am not a person who likes to fight. Soon, under the leadership of the 5 Elders, Shane saw the familiar place, the throne of the Lord.
At the end of the high stairs, there stands a throne, which seems to overlook the world. And in the middle of the way to the throne, there are various weapons inserted. These weapons have long been decayed and dilapidated. Shane, do you know where this is? Sartain asked Shane. Shane yawned, felt a little sleepy and wanted to sleep, so he answered casually. Is it the throne of the void or the throne of the void? Elder Sardin was stunned, and the other 5 Elders also raised their eyebrows, very surprised. Why does Shane know? At this moment, a cold voice came. Although the voice was somewhat neutral, you could still tell that it was a woman. Everyone turned their heads, and Shane turned around subconsciously and saw the legendary Yimu. She looked somewhat similar to Vivi, but she had a mole at the corner of her eye. After seeing Yimu appear, the 5 elders did not dare to show any lightness and immediately knelt down. I have met Lord Yimu. Seeing that Shane was still standing, Sarton suddenly became anxious. He quickly pulled Shane's justice coat and said, Shane, didn't I just warn you? Kneel down when you see an adult. The other 5 elders also spoke one after another. Shane raised his eyebrows and wanted to kneel down by himself. How is that possible? However, I spoke at this moment, waving his hand and saying, Shane can skip the kneeling ceremony. The 5 elders were extremely surprised when they heard this. Lord Yimu, who is inferior to one person but superior to 10,000 people, would actually exempt others from kneeling down. How much does Master care about Shane? Shane didn't think too much. He chuckled, nodded and said, this is my greeting to you. If it doesn't offend, we can shake hands. All the 5 elders were dumbfounded. Who dared Master to speak like this? Will Sama be furious? The 5 elders were uneasy, but Im's next words surprised them even more. Just listen to nodded and chuckled. Okay, after saying that, he took the initiative to reach out and hold Shane's hand. This scene has left the 5 elders on the side completely speechless. What is a handshake? It is based on the fact that both parties have equal status. Didn't think anything of it, and then she said to Shane, Shane, are you interested in becoming a 5 elders? After Shane heard this, he asked in surprise, are you going to fire one of the other elders and give me a position? The expressions of the 5 elders changed for a while after these words. Was also amused, but said in a normal tone, this is not, but to make you the 6th elder. Your authority will increase to an unprecedented level. Although the 5 elders were shocked that asked to see Shane this time and planned to directly give him high rights, no one had any objections. Shane's current value is immeasurable, which makes his threat to the world government also inestimable. Once Shane becomes hostile to the world government, even if the world government kills Shane in the end, the losses will probably be huge, and all the 800 years of knowledge will be consumed. So when faced with such a terrifying existence, the best thing is to pull him into the same boat. Obviously Lord also knows this. So Shane was directly assigned the position of elder. It doesn't matter whether he works or not, as long as Shaoen's interests are consistent with those of himself and others. Shane was going to refuse directly. Being 5 elders was too much trouble. If it weren't for system tasks, he wouldn't even come to the Holy Land. And just when Shane was about to refuse, Im's face suddenly changed. The original Yi Mu calmly carried the absolute indifference of a person in a high position, as if everything in the world was under her control, and she had the confidence to control the overall situation. Shane felt that, to put it simply, it was the magic of an emperor. However, at this time, Yimu did not have the calmness of the Supreme Master, and only had constant fear and terror.
Shane looked confused. This was fine. Why did it suddenly happen like this?
What on earth happened? He subconsciously looked at the 5 elders and found that the 5 elders were even worse. They were trembling with fear and their faces were pale with fright. Shane touched his nose and asked directly, what's wrong with you? Are you all so scared? Cold sweat slipped from her forehead, and she murmured to herself. Impossible, how could it happen so fast? After finishing speaking, she looked at Shane and explained, my captain is returning to this world. Shane heard that as a question mark. What the hell? Im's captain. Seemingly sensing Shane's confusion, began to describe the so-called captain. More than 800 years ago, General Weiwei led a group of space pirates. Shane listened with a confused look on his face, and felt that his worldview was crumbling. But then I thought about it. In the original setting of One Piece, the previously disappeared country seemed to be established by an alien race. According to Im's description, she was still a simple little girl back then, and then she was tricked into boarding a pirate ship. Shane was more and more shocked the more she listened as described her captain. He also experienced the shock when others used various attributes on him. Wow, why do you feel that the captain described by seems familiar to you?
Isn't that a boss that appears early in One Punch Man? Boros.
Shane's chest rose and fell. That guy's fighting ability is not weak. An existence that can knock Saitama to the moon with one punch, but Shane is also confident in his own strength. But if he wants to fight Boros, to be honest, Gen N is not interested at all. Too much trouble, however, although feels it now, he still cannot predict the time when Boros will arrive. Shane didn't want to worry about it after hearing this. He is a relatively lazy person. Since he hasn't arrived yet, don't think about it. You can eat when you need to, drink when you need to drink, and wait until Boros comes. But Imoko was not so relaxed. She looked solemnly and lived up to her previous high profile as she looked at Shane and said, Shane, when the captain returns, he will definitely destroy the world just like he did 800 years ago. Playing bad, your choice of words is a bit inappropriate, Shane complained in his heart, but on the outside he was nonchalant. It seems like I am listening, but also like I am no longer listening. Didn't mind either. She continued to mind her own business and told Shane. The truth about the 100-year blank period was actually a war between 2 aliens. One brought high technology and the other relied on his own power. The power of. Shane looked like he wasn't listening, but in fact he was. Now he understood the truth about the 100 years of blankness. It's just that the truth of this 100-year gap is completely different than what I thought, and it is even more cruel and bloody. I am speaking. She looked at Shane and said in a deep voice. Shane, my captain's strength makes us dare not look directly at it, but you are different. I hope you can defeat my captain. 17. Shane finally understood the reason why I am appointed him as an elder. Did co-author intend to make him a thug? But your current strength is not enough. During the time when the captain arrives, you must be specially trained, I am said solemnly. Shane finally restrained his casual attitude, as if he suddenly woke up from a nap, and then laughed with a playful expression. I am. Are you so self-assertive? Here you tell me the whole time how cruel your captain is. Then you tell me how miserable you are, and finally you tell me that you want me to receive special training? Shane yawned. Did I promise you I would deal with your captain? The 5 elders looked at the suddenly strong Shane, and their expressions changed. Sarton raised his head and wanted to persuade him to have a better attitude. After all, the emperor in front of him was the emperor who had ruled the world for more than 800 years, but he was stopped by IM. She raised her hand to signal the 5 elders to be silent, then looked at Shane and said, then let me ask you now, are you willing? Please give me flowers. Shane touched his nose and planned to say no directly, but the system voice in his mind sounded. Task. Promise IM to deal with Boros. Reward for completing the mission. Super grant. This reward will be settled after Boros arrives on the planet, close black lens bracket. Shane was numb at this time and did not complain about the system in his heart because he was used to it. Even when you don't intend to take action, the system comes with the task. But if you let yourself take action, the system will also reward you. Take over the task. What's more, this mission is so simple, just make yourself agree to IM, but the reward is very generous. New attributes are directly rewarded. It was necessary to wait until Boros arrived before settling the settlement for himself. Shane couldn't help complaining about this. Is this because you are afraid that you will not do something after receiving the reward? Are you such a person? That's it. Shane calmed down his thoughts and promised IM. Leave your captain's affairs to me, and I guarantee to give you a perfect answer. After hearing this, IM's face was obviously happy. Shane's strength is now at the top of the world, although he is not too bad. But the key problem is that Shane's time from reaching the top of the world is very short, but it took him more than 800 years to reach his current strength. So Shane is the hope of defeating his own captain. Shane, if you need anything for the next special training, just tell the 5 elders and I will let them fully cooperate with you. Even if it means mobilizing the whole world, there will be no problem.
Point 0. IM gave Shane the highest authority. However, Shane waved his hand calmly. IM, there are only 2 things I need, that is, don't disturb me, and then just give me the best food in the world for 3 meals a day. Now, Shane's inexplicable money and status are lacking in everything, so naturally he has no other pursuits except food. As for the issue of strength, can my own strength be improved? It's just basking in the sun, breathing, etc. There's no way to do any special training. I'm practicing anytime and anywhere. Furthermore, now that his overall strength has reached world-class level, this level cannot be reached by simply practicing. Besides, once you reach this level, there is no need to practice. However, the 5 elders' impression of Shane's strength is still in the battle they just had with the 4 emperors, the strong men of the old era. Previously, these strong men had teamed up to break Shane's defense. It was not a minor injury, but a more serious injury that would only heal later. Such strength is placed on this star. He is invincible on the ball, but facing your own captain is definitely not enough. Shane, I can put all my hopes on you. What's your attitude? I am a little unhappy. Is it because his strength has improved? How little attention is paid to it. If you and I can't defeat my captain together, then you and I will both die. Do you understand? IM said solemnly, wanting Gen N to know the danger. But Shane's posture remained the same from beginning to end. He chuckled. IM, you've lived for 800 years, isn't that enough? Without waiting for IM's answer, Shane waved his hand and said, since all hope is pinned on me, don't interfere with my actions. I can do whatever I want. Anyway, if you can't beat him, you'll die. There's nothing to be afraid of. Besides, although Shane may be arrogant, his smile does make people feel absolutely confident. I'm sure I can defeat your captain. The 5 elders were all stunned. They didn't understand where Shane's confidence came from. They had obviously told him how terrifying Boros' strength was, yet he still showed this attitude. Is this the fearlessness of the ignorant? Shane. IM also wanted to persuade Shane to take it seriously, practice hard, and strive to become stronger before Boros comes. But Shane left without looking back, not wanting to continue fighting with IM and the others here. Since you have agreed to IM, just wait for Boros to arrive and the task will be settled. The 5 elders looked at Shane leaving, feeling a little at a loss. They subconsciously looked at IM. I saw IM on the throne of the sky's face turning pale and then black. She regretted placing her hopes on people like Shane, but if she didn't place her hopes on him, who else in the world could she place her hopes on? IM suddenly felt that the future was dark. Once the captain found out that he wanted to deal with him, he would be worse than death.
Ads by Bid Gear.